There we go. I think we have materialized. I think already I can see a shocked face in the chat. Who are these guys? Wow. And well, welcome to the stream, guys. We have a highly intellectual panel today here, and a really appropriate one because the topic that we are going to be discussing today is an extremely important one. Actually, it's one that I think is close to all of our hearts, in the chat and also on the panel in different ways. Actually, and I think we've got some really good different perspectives here and ideas to talk about, because it is the day that we are going to talk about monetization in MMOs, but also in video games in general. A little bit as well, actually. It's going to be more of a broader topic, but also, we are obviously, like, a lot of us are MMO gamers, us for Guild Wars 2, BDO and ArcheAge, World of Warcraft, all that sort of thing. So, that's going to be a slight focus there, of course, but yeah, this is some good stuff. So I think actually I want to kind of start off with some context and introductions with the kind of games that we've been involved in. So Envy, now you used to play like the milk MMO BDO,
yes,
and ArcheAge as well, right? And then ArcheAge Unchained too. So yep. Tell us a little bit about like how your experiences with the business models in those games and how that influences the gameplay.
What's crazy is both of them did not start out as pay to win. And then BDO did it slightly, but ArcheAge, from what I understand, just like poured on the gas. Like it went from like, because the progression is difficult because you're capped by like an energy system where you could just swipe for it. You could just buy it. And if you wanted a certain item that you can only go mine, you could just buy it. So people were spending $3, $4, $5, $6, $10, $20,000 a month to just fly ahead of everybody. And then they killed the game. People started leaving. And then with BDO, it started out as like pay for convenience. Like say in Guild Wars 2, your inventory, you could only have so much stuff, not based on slots, but based on weight. Well, they started adding stuff like that. They started adding like a value pack, and they started adding the ability to sell them on the market. So you could basically swipe, get an item for real currency and sell it in the game for in-game currency. Even though the conversion was terrible, people were doing it at $1,000 a week every month. And then they'd kill you and be like, wow, you're so trash. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, like you're dumping, $1,000 a week to the game. So it's definitely changed the game. And then even some other Korean MMOs I've played, they do it, but people stay. A lot of people leave since pay to win starts, but a lot of people stay, and that's, I don't know, they like thrive on it. I've actually seen people now, since ArcheAge Unchained is so unpay to win, like there's nothing, they're asking for pay to win stuff. I've never even seen that. And I'm like, it's the argument's gone the other way. It's like, we need some conveniences. It's like, wait, y'all want this now? So I don't know, man. It's I've seen the whole gamut.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty crazy. And just out of curiosity, well, I think some of the viewers may be aware of this, but how deep did you go on BDO?
20 grand.
20 grand. And also, this is
three years. 3 years.
3 years.
But remember, a lot of the money I'd spent on it when I was streaming full time, I would get a lot of donations in because it's a pay to win game. A lot of people, you would get a lot of subs. Yeah. I got heavy. I mean, I had triple my donation income to my sub. So like whatever you made in subs, you tripled that donation. So I took a lot of that money and bought currency and did giveaways with in-game items. So a lot of it churned right back in, and I didn't keep it, which inflated how much I spent.
Yeah.
But I still spent it. I could have kept it. So
yeah. And this is something that really, do you think that your experience with the BDO kind of influenced how you approached Guild Wars 2? Because when you came to Guild Wars 2 for the first time, people were I think people were amazed because you were like week 1 swanking around with a bunch of legendaries going, yeah, man, I've got my ascended gear on all my characters, right?
The best is, what was funny is I think it was Larry or somebody else was watching my stream, and I needed what's it called? Blood dust.
Bloodstone dust. Yeah, bloodstone dust. Yeah.
I needed that, of all things, which I now know all we want when you're a veteran is, how the hell do I get rid of this stuff? I was swiping with my credit card to buy gems to convert to gold to buy Halloween packs to get the dust so I could craft ascended gear.
That is
So
insane.
people were like, "This man just spent $200 to get an item that I have 20,000 of. What are you doing? Just play another week." I'm like, "No, I need it now. I want ascended gear." And like, they could not believe it. But in BDO terms, like that's nothing, you know, to get that kind of increase. So
Yeah.
I learned looking back that now that I've played the game for a while. But yeah, my buddy gave he's a BDO player. I helped out like guides and stuff. He said, "Hey, I have 2 world completions. I'm never gonna make a legendary again. I can't bring myself to do it. Do you want them?" I said, "Sure, what do I do?" And he said, "You just grind out these materials for me and I'll make them." So immediately I got Twilight and Incinerator. But then I just started buying legendaries straight out for gems to gold.
Yeah.
Funny enough though, all the BDO players that came over when BDO messed up all got banned because they bought legendaries through third-party websites. So like literally 60% of the BDO here that came to Guild Wars 2 immediately left because they all got banned. I know about 15 people that happened to. They're like, "What? I'm flagged. Like, what does this mean?" I'm like, "Did you buy that weapon?" He's like, "Yeah, I bought it on player auctions. Thought it'd be fine." It's like, no, dude, that a bot made that, not a person.
Oh no,
So,
that is not good at all.
yeah.
And as like final note on the introduction, like kind of in relation to Guild Wars 2 and kind of transitioning between business models in a way. I think, would it be fair to say that you kind of like burned out on Guild Wars 2 or detached from the game relatively quickly after a fairly short amount of time?
I put a full year. I mean, I played it for off and on for a couple of years, but like I played by myself. I never got in Discord or TeamSpeak and played with people. I just I saw someone say, "Hey, we're gonna go do this," and you know, in chat, I'll go and I'll join their party and go. This was all pre Heart of Thorn.
Yeah.
I never came back during that. And when I came back right around when I met you, I went really hard for a year, and then I saw the game has tons of potential. Probably the best combat and systems out of like any MMOs out, and they just don't work on them. They work on other stuff. And the direction the company takes the game is not the way a lot of us see the game should go. And it just kind of sucks. So I just lost interest in it. And like I'd put up posts and content and try, and then I was like, man, like they really don't want this to happen. So I just went elsewhere. But I do bounce around through games.
Yeah.
That's just kind of who I am. And I like alt, so I think it's just within my nature.
To you know mix and match a little bit. Do you think if you hadn't spent money on Guild Wars 2, you'd have played it for longer, or do you think it didn't really make a difference?
Don't think it made a difference. The way I look at it is like when I lived in Atlanta and Nashville, like I would go out every weekend. I mean, I would spend money on champagne, girls, Uber, food. So if you spend $1,000 on a weekend and you feel terrible, that's ridiculous. You know, it's you had fun, but did you really have fun? Do you really remember it?
Yeah.
Was it really worth it? At the time, you had a good time because you're hammered. But the next day, you're like, God, I'm not doing that again. So I started taking some of that, not as much money, and then staying home and then playing games. So I put some of the money I made into games, and that gives me, I guess, enjoyment. And it's my hobby. Some people think it's crazy, but you know, I enjoy it. It makes me enjoy it more. I'm having a better time. So I don't think it necessarily changes my enjoyment of the game or burns me out on it, because I still think BDO is a good game. It's just got some pretty flipping crazy monetizations set up. I mean, like absolutely wild. But it's a fun game. Can I go spend my time on it? If you were to download and play, would you have fun? Yeah, of course it is. But I don't think it influences. But I do think it causes people, not with Guild Wars 2, but BDO definitely creates them to be bitter. I've seen people lose their jobs, lose girlfriends, lose their health, how much they get caught up in it, because it's endless progression. It's not gated. And some people just, when there's no stop, there's no daily, there's nothing to quit you from going forward, they just keep going. And
just to qualify that, obviously you're okay though, Envy, right? Obviously.
I mean,
you're able to manage this.
I hope so. But yeah, like, I mean, I've had friends that, like, there's a thing called gatekeepers in BDO that gave the highest amount of money per hour, and they played as a 5-man group 37 hours straight, killing them. 37 hours straight. Like, the one guy that was the last one to go to bed, he was in Discord with us. He didn't make any sense. He was just talking just nonsense. And I was like, I've never seen people in any game do that, and that's what that game did. And there is a way to pay to win it, but the pressure there to compete is probably because some people are spending money and doing that. I mean, but now people aren't even paying to win the game. They actually, I'm not sure if you've heard about this, but derogatory term, they call it the pinoy system, to where basically I've seen the pictures. There's a little room, about 20 kids in it, all in front of computers, all playing BDO, grinding on your account for money. So you can go to work. When you come home, you have all this money.
Right.
It's about yeah.
Okay.
They thank. I've seen the Discord where they thank the people for giving them so much money they were able to like take a trip together. Like, so third world countries, BDO is buying them vacations because players don't want to play the game, keep paying to win, so they pay other people to play on it for them.
I guess that's not as negative as it sounds then. If they're, if they're,
it's a little heartwarming.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
But
that's a thing now. Kind of wild.
Yeah. Okay. And there you go. That's quite the tale there as well. And also our other guest here, perhaps a slightly different perspective, is MagicalMike, one of the wise men who is in my chat often, and of course in his own on Twitch and YouTube too. But tell us a little bit about your experiences, and not just about MMOs, because obviously you played Guild Wars 2, more of perhaps more so in the past now than recently with Guild Wars 2. But yeah, like what kind of how deep are you, in some of these games like Guild Wars 2 and stuff?
You know, I played RuneScape for a long time. So when was the first Easter event? Like 2004, 2005, something.
Wow, old school.
I was playing from like then-ish. It was the first like online game that I played. The first, can you call it an MMO? Can you call RuneScape an MMO even back then? I don't know. I mean, back then maybe not, but lots of players online. Sure, it's an MMO. So I played that free to play for God knows how many years, 2 or 3 years, and always looked at the membership sub fee and was like, I don't want to pay £5 a month. Imagine that, £5 a month. But when I was like in high school, a sub fee was like completely off limits, and my parents were all like, no, you can't do that. We can't be having you pay for random things like that online. You can't be trusted, and all of this kind of nonsense that I'm sure we all heard as kids. But eventually, you went around, and I started playing as a member, and I must have played that until like 2009 or something, on and off as a member, just like, you pay the sub fee and you do as much as you can, and you feel like you're kind of tied to that game because you paid more for it and you want to get the most out of your money, or at least I did. But the business model with RuneScape used to be quite nice in that if you wanted to just dip out of membership, you could. And you could continue to log into your account in the free-to-play areas and just go and do whatever you wanted to there. So I kind of played off and on, and it was fine. It never felt like an issue to have paid that much for it, and I had fun. And similarly, around the same sort of time, probably 07, 08, I picked up Guild Wars 1, and obviously that's just a buy-to-play game, and there was no cash shop at the time. I think you could maybe buy character slots, maybe bank slots.
Yeah.
But honestly, you didn't need to, because the base game came with 4 slots, I think. And, there's only 6 classes in the base game, so I had 4 characters. You buy the expansions, standalone, Nightfall and Factions came out, 2 more character slots each, so, it was very fair. I only had to buy 2 character slots, I got to play everything. So essentially, I just bought the boxes, played Guild Wars 1 to death, and then the next game I really played, like, a lot was Guild Wars 2, which again was the same kind of business model, buy to play, and then you have it. And then the cash shop at the time was extremely fair. There was nothing but cosmetics in there, and the boosters and everything were just like, whatever, nobody cared about them. But apart from that, no subscription MMOs, and just I stick to sales mostly to buy games. I very rarely buy anything completely new.
The shrewd purchaser.
Yeah. Shrewd purchaser.
Yeah.
It was like an NPC.
That
sounds like an NPC you get some quest from.
The Omega Cheapskate is what I'm known as.
Hey, I linked the picture in your stream if you want.
Yeah, I see. This is crazy, dude. What the hell?
So it's so popular. There's not 10 people doing it. Hundreds of people doing it. in Russia and EU, NA, and all the top guilds because the best way to get money is to grind, but they're tired of grinding, so they let other people do it for them.
I've just got that on the stream right now, guys. Like, this is insane, dude. I mean, how do you keep up with these guys? You just got like fucking 20 guys playing on your account. This is insane.
And they log in through like a VPN, and the best part is like when you encounter them in the game. It's an open world PvP game. You can flag on them, and in the game, there's a common saying called like "spot taken." Like, I'm grinding here, go somewhere else. And since they don't speak English that well, they just yell like, "Bro, spot, bro." And you're like, "Yep, that's a pinoy." Like, you immediately know like that's some person grinding on the account. And it's first, usually what you see is people go crazy pay to win, spend a bunch of money, realize it's not worth, get someone else to pilot their account, and then quit or sell the account. That's like the life of a BDO account.
That's
kind of the life of RuneScape accounts as well, back when bots were just completely uncontrolled.
Or it gets stolen. RuneScape, man. Gosh, these people will try and steal your account so
hacking
fast.
and the botting as well is obviously a really, really serious issue too.
Bots were always a fun challenge though, because you would have to compete for resources in RuneScape. So specifically like woodcutting and mining nodes. You'd go up to a tree and you'd have like 8 guys all whacking on it, all level 3, all bold, like bob-looking dudes, and you'd be like, "I wonder what's happening here," and you'd get maybe 3 logs out before somebody cuts the tree down. You're like, and mining nodes as well. You'd have to like try and out-level the bots and try to get to the zones that they're not in, so that you can actually get some coal and iron, so you can smelt your bloody steel and all this junk.
Oh, dude, coal and
I never played that game.
I worked hard in that game.
Yeah,
and,
it is a hard-working game.
Worth.
Yeah, like that is a game where you have to put the effort in to get the reward out. The reward is seeing that level up, man. But let's get into the first topic, and I think this is perhaps one of the more contentious ones in the Guild Wars 2 community. And that is the subscription fee. Actually, I actually try to avoid arguing on stream about sub fees because I know that I'm going to get triggered. I know that the chat is going to get triggered at this point because there are some video gamers, right, who really hate the idea of a sub fee, actually, and they will not do it. They will not say, you know what, I will not spend $10 a month on my video game. It will not happen. No way. I will never do it, right? And like the argument I always go to, and I think this is where Mike is going to beat my ass here as well. This is good stuff. Right? The argument I always says, well, so you won't spend $15 on a video game, but you're going to go out every Friday and, get your, mocha frappa cappuccino meme, right? For like $5. Like, oh yeah, you're going to waste money on that garbage, right? That it just goes. Like you enjoy it in like 5 minutes and it's gone, right? But you won't spend $15 a month on your hobby, right? Are you kidding me? Like try getting a gym membership or something like that. Like that's going to cost you money too, right? Or go to the cinema and then the argument just kind of degenerates into like pure memes, right? But I don't know, like the sub fee is something that I don't know. Thanks to playing Guild Wars 2 and my now irrational fear of microtransactions, I do view, at least for MMOs, I kind of see the sub fee as almost like a necessary meme as a part of the MMO business model, because otherwise the game it doesn't necessarily become infested with like horrible microtransactions, but I think it can definitely lead that way, and it often does. And I, as much as I hate to say it, I would actually kind of pose Guild Wars 2 as an example of this. Like if you look at the start of the game, and honestly, Guild Wars 1 as well, ArenaNet were famed for their business model, actually. They were highly respected for how fair they really were. And that's not to say it isn't now. I actually truly do believe that ArenaNet's business model is incredibly fair, right? Especially with the free-to-play model. And this is, Mike raised an incredibly good point about RuneScape, how they do their free-to-play premium system. Very good, by the way. And really, really worth talking about in a little bit. But now I do think that ArenaNet's gem store has been somewhat tainted and, well, I think highlighted actually with the build templates coming actually next week as well. There are a few issues around the build templates thing in terms of monetization. And yeah, that is a bit of a hot topic right now. And I think that because of the lack of subscription fee and perhaps to a certain extent the ailing nature of the game, I think Guild Wars 2 is going through some hard times. That it has kind of forced ArenaNet to kind of nudge the gem store pretty hard, and I believe it should kind of compromise the game at the end of the day, because like say what you like about build templates, like it's inarguable that like there are literally no mount skins to obtain in the game, right? None. You have
Wait,
to.
Are there no in-game mount skins?
None, not even one. They're all in the store. Yeah.
Here's the issue
that.
though with that. Here's the thing that people always bring up. You can. All you got to do is go and grind your gold, doing whatever you want to do. PvP,
True.
World v World, memes, raids, fractals, whatever your dailies, mining, whatever, and then you just turn your gold into gems and buy it in the store there. So it is in the game. You can earn them, but not specifically from doing specific content. That's the very, very important distinction that we've got to make here.
Yeah. And I do actually agree with you there, Mike, which is why I wouldn't really complain, even now, about ArenaNet's business model. I do hate to bring it up. I bring it up because it's the one that I'm obviously the most familiar with, right? Because I play a lot of Guild Wars 2, and Guild Wars 2 is very close to my heart. And I do think it is a good example of this sort of thing. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And the currency conversion does really mitigate this and doesn't really give you much room to complain, in my opinion. But what I think the area you can attack this sort of thing with regards to the cash up microtransaction model, buy to play, free to play, whatever you want to call it, is the fact that I think it kind of compromises the actual gameplay experience. When you detach rewards from the actual game itself, I do think you actually lose meaning. You lose meaning from these rewards. They become less meaningful. And you end up with them just being like, flashy, shiny things that you see everyone jumping around with, right? Like when a mount skin comes out, right? Everyone's got it, right? Because they either convert and buy gems with their gold, or they just whip out the credit card, right? And go ahead and buy that. There's no value to it, right? Like no one's ever going to look at a mount skin in Guild Wars and go like, whoa, dude. Like, where did you get that, man? Because, well, you know where you got it. You got it in the gem store, dude. It's like, oh, yeah, good job, buddy. I don't know. Like, and Guild Wars 2 is a game that a lot of people do. One of the main complaints that a lot of non-Guild Wars 2ers, right, complain about is that the lack of kind of incentive or meaning, right, behind the content, right, behind the rewards in the game. Like, why would I want to do this? And then the answer you have to give in Guild Wars 2 is like, well, because it's fun, right? Like, because you want to do it. And all of MMO gamers, like, this is a realization I've kind of had over the past 6 months. Like, when you say to an MMO player, okay, right, listen, here we go. Right?
Ooh,
okay.
This isn't just MMOs though, Teapot. This is single player games as well. This happens. Why should I have to grind this thing for that reward?
And this is a very good point, and I actually think this is a slightly different topic, actually, because in the single player games, I actually think this is way more nefarious. And call me out if I'm being overly cynical, or maybe doubt.
Did you just say nefarious?
Nefarious, yeah.
A great word.
Yeah, like
I love you.
Cackling
You're so smart
yeah.
with your vocabulary.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah.
So in your single player game, when you have microtransactions and kind of like pay to skip or pay to speed up features, I think what typically happens is that the game has been designed to kind of incentivize you to do that, right? They've put in like, oh, you've got to do, oh, yeah, by the way, to progress to the next story, you better get to this level. You better go do like 50 fucking side missions, right? But hey, just for the low price of $10, you can skip all that garbage and get to the actual content, right? And so it's in a single player game. I think this is actually kind of evil a lot of the time. Like, I think, the Dead Space 3, for example, like a lot of the Ubisoft games do this sort of thing. Yeah. Oh, Final Fantasy 14.
Hey, that's the biggest paywall MMO out right now.
Be careful, dude. They're gonna come for us.
On Twitter once.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't want to. I guess I will like slightly defend Final Fantasy 14, and I guess MMOs with level boosts to a certain extent, because I think that sometimes with MMOs, like the early game, and modern MMOs in particular, the early game is actually just like, bleh, you know, like not a lot of people will actually enjoy it. So for example, like I can understand if you want, suppose I wanted to play retail World of Warcraft, right? I don't think anyone is going to say, wow, you know, the leveling in that game is so good. Yeah, you know, you want to go play raids.
Have you leveled in retail WoW?
No, I haven't. No.
I have.
Well,
every
I have
class
a very long time
I've
ago.
never leveled.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just buy the boost. There's no point.
Yeah. And
it takes so long.
It takes a long time, and it's probably just not as enjoyable as like what's waiting for you, right? Like what's because you know Mythic Plus, raids, you know the PvP, right, like, etc. Right, like there's So with an MMORPG, I think it's kind of justifiable. I don't really mind level boosts. I understand that some people just don't want to do leveling. Some people do, and some people don't. That's okay. I think it does depend on the context of the game. Like, for example, I don't think a level boost in Classic WoW just should not exist. Like, because the game is actually really fun to level in my opinion. Right. So it's not necessary. But with something like Final Fantasy XIV, even the players who really praise that game have told me that, you know, the early levels, like, ooh, that hits a little bit rough. You know, that not the most enjoyable experience in the world, especially when you have to go through all of the story cutscenes as well. I mean, that's what Peon found out, right?
Didn't they make it unskippable too?
I think some of it is unskippable, some of it is skippable, as I understand it. But some of it is unskippable. It used to be
worse. You used to have to level other classes to get their skills for your main class. Like it was, but like you said, Final Fantasy leveling is part of the game. Like that's some games leveling experiences. Go kill 6 crabs on the beach, you come back and I'll give you a level. Like that game, it's the story's woven into it. There's a lot of lore, so I get it.
Yeah. Allow me to swerve us back to the sub fee thing here as well. Like the argument that I would posit is that if you have something like a subscription fee in your game, like it might not keep the evil microtransactions out, which it should, by the way. Okay, like delete all microtransactions, guys. Fucking suck. Okay, I don't like them anymore. Okay, no, get that cash up out of here. However, I think it can deter it, and it can make them less impactful on the game. And the example I would give here is actually World of Warcraft retail, because although there is a cash shop in retail WoW, and as I understand it, quite a lot of people actually do use it. They buy the weird thing that's got wings attached to whatever they attach wings to this month, right, for your new flying mount that you can get off the cash shop. Mm-hmm. However, right, inside the game itself, there are also a lot of really good rewards. And what are you going to care about more? Are you going to care about this really cool mount skin that you bought on the cash shop for Blizzard money, right? Or are you going to value that really sick mount that you got from Mythic Jaina and only like 7 people are riding around on right now because they're really fucking good at the game, right?
Right.
And I think that's where the sub fee can kind of come in. It can inhibit this to a certain extent, and make the game kind of less pay to win, less pay for convenience, less pay for anything, right? To a certain extent, carried by gear, exactly. Like that's some good stuff, right? That's a spicy meme. But yeah, like that is what I would say about the sub fee. It doesn't always work because I think some games end up having both. But I think it could make it less likely. And I don't know. I don't like seeing games kind of corrupted and ruined by microtransactions. Because I imagine people are not happy with. Oh yeah, go ahead.
If we're talking purely cosmetics, you've got to. It depends on the context, and everyone's different with this sort of thing. Because I don't particularly care if that person's got a really cool mount skin. I don't really care where it's from, right? If it's from the cash shop, cool. I'm not going to buy it. Just straight up, not going to do that. If it's from a mythic raid, then awesome. I've got a new goal. I might want to go try that out. But it doesn't matter to me if they have that thing that I don't. It's just their character. If I want to go and look like that, I'll go and do the content. A lot of people will not think that way. A lot of people are trying to stand out, and a lot of people care how everybody else looks and they want to be unique and be that guy with the cool stuff. Me, not so much. And I think, like, if you look at Guild Wars 2 when the Black Wings came out on the Gem Store, right? And you go into the PvP lobby and Heart of the Mist was just black wings, a sea of black wings. And it was like, oh my god, dude, this is insane. Because it was a limited item and everybody had to buy it. you know, I didn't care that everybody else had it. I just thought, oh, those are pretty cool. Those fit with the theme of my character. I'll go with it. I'll buy those. One of the very, very, very few times I've ever used real money on the gem store, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Just to qualify, I probably spent maybe like, you know, I bought all the boxed expansions, boxed in quotes, the digital copies, the base versions of all of those. And I probably spent like 30-40 pounds on the gem store total throughout the 7 years of the game.
Oh.
Holy shit. I'm pretty close to 10 grand.
Yeah.
I got almost every legendary in the game, and I've just bought gold and credit cards. So I'm the opposite of the spectrum. We got a good panel here.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So you got. Yeah. I mean, look, I forgot to actually kind of put my stake in there. Actually, like I'm the middle ground here, which is why I think this is such a great panel. Actually, I think I'm about 2,000 into Guild Wars 2. But yeah.
But you've played for how many years?
I played for since release. Yeah, it's like 7 years. Yeah. 7 years. So certainly, a lower spending rate than you, Envy. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think the concern I have with it, Mike, is like kind of the way that MMOs end up being designed. Right? Is that they tend to be very reward centric, right? And a lot of MMO players tend to be reward centric as well.
Quite competitive as well, which is why you have people wanting to stand out. Yeah.
Absolutely. And when you introduce I'm going to say this like this, but I don't mean it that sincerely. I mean, when you introduce like a pay-to-win fashion system, right, in a way, or a pay-to-win reward system, which is kind of what microtransactions. I'm not saying Guild Wars 2, I'm just saying microtransactions in general can be this, right? When you introduce that system into a game, I think it can like compromise the integrity of the game, if that doesn't sound too roleplay, in a way.
Value stuff, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, also like
the painting point is really good too. What you're saying.
And my next hot take, I would say that in a way it can kind of influence the community's attitude to the game as well. Like in Guild Wars 2, if they ever put anything that's even remotely hard to obtain in the game now, there is absolute outrage. Okay, there's nothing. Okay, there is nothing that is allowed to be the scarf skin. Yeah, like,
the roller beetle races.
Thank you. This is such a good point here. So Envy, do you remember this last Halloween? Right, they introduced. It wasn't Halloween. It was like it was Halloween, wasn't it? Was it last Halloween, Mike?
It was Halloween,
there was as part of the Halloween achievement, you had to do a beetle race. Okay, in a certain amount of time.
Right.
And
Beetle just came out around that time, though, right?
I believe so. Yeah, this was one of the first kind of achievements based around it.
A couple of months
right?
After,
yeah.
I think.
And you actually had to learn how to drift to do it. Basically, you need to be relatively competent to do this achievement.
Okay.
And there was so much outrage around this. It was unreal. Actually, people were so mad. It took some skill. Yeah, it took some skill.
The other point was that it was Halloween, so it was this kind of festival content. It was limited time. You had to be able to get good in a time limit.
Oh god, there's pressure around it.
Yeah,
right. And since it was festival content, everybody expected it to be sort of more laid back and easier, right?
Right.
Even though you got the clock tower
Here's
in there.
Sweaty beetle race.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was probably the hardest achievement to do. I want to say actually, out of all of them, and the Halloween thing does actually hold up in my opinion. Like, yeah, fair enough. Like, it shouldn't be like super crazy.
Right.
To do, but like the amount of uproar it generated kind of is like the Guild Wars 2 community, thanks to the gem store and stuff like that, and the game being easy in general. Like, it's not just the gem store here; it's like the perfect storm of Clown Fiesta. Have been conditioned into believing that everything in the game should be theirs, right? That is to say that anything in the game can be obtainable for no effort. And some people really like this, but the trouble is that for a lot of other players, it completely compromises the integrity of the reward structure.
Nothing matters.
Nothing matters. Yeah, like everything becomes nothing. It becomes The Sims, right? It's dress up.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Capitalism.
Yeah.
Right. Trigger somebody. I'm just kidding. No, but I agree. Like, if everybody wins, and why are you gonna go get that item? Why are you gonna go grind for 8 hours when, Chris from Norway just swipes his credit card and he gets a better looking item anyways?
No.
I don't want to go work for that. If I could just buy it, like, what's the point? It makes the fun content we want with meaningless and no longer fun.
Absolutely, and there were kind of echoes of this beetle race that actually went down in history. Actually, for a start, they nerfed the race insanely hard to the point where I was like, I think you could actually do it like just by running around on foot with the thief or something. I think.
Oh my God.
Okay, can either of you? Oh, sorry, no, MD.
That's quite the nerve.
Teapot, can you remember the time that was the initial time you had to beat? Because now it's 1 minute to get the gold.
I think it
And I
was
find that
35.
35 seems insane because I haven't seen Boots beat that this year.
It's a different one. I think. I don't think it's the same race.
Is it?
Or at least I think it's different. It's different.
I think they've taken some of the graves.
Oh wait! Oh no!
No! Easier this year.
No! I'm an idiot. No, it was 55 seconds before. I think they nerfed the gold to 1 minute, but the achievement is something like 150 or something like that. It was 52 seconds before. Yeah, or yeah, it was something. It was sub minute or just a bit below a minute, and then they nerfed it to 1 minute, and then the achievement they nerfed to something like 130 or 150. Yeah, that's how it went down.
To put that into a little bit of context, I've done it a few times. This year was the first time I tried it. I just didn't bother last year at all because of the outrage. I was just like, I'm not getting involved. This year I tried it, and within 30 attempts maybe I was able to do it consistently. So I can beat it in like 2 or 3 attempts now, but with that minimum amount of effort, and I'm like 54 seconds. So 52 was pretty hard. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't. It's not. It wasn't just like it wasn't free. It was enjoyable though. Yeah, you actually engaged in the game. Yeah, which is good. And the other point I was going to bring up for kind of like the knock-on effects of this sort of thing is that there is a new achievement for a scarf, right? A spooky racing scarf.
Oh my God!
And you get this for beating an achievement, right? But you can also just buy the reward for money. You can buy it for gold. You can just buy some candy corn cobs, and you can purchase the achievement reward without doing you could get the racing scarf without ever going on a beetle race. And that's what I mean about kind of compromising the reward structure. Is like when you have your community conditioned to, reach for their gold, reach for the wallet, right? Instead of actually playing the game. You end up just giving away everything for free because people expect it. And hey, capitalism, dude. Like is it not written that the customer is always right? And if a lot of your customers, your game, and this is obviously a very subjective thing, but I would argue that making the kind of like the reward structure and the end game. Bear in mind, Guild Wars 2's end game is fashion, right? If you make the game's rewards kind of meaningless and free, like, have you not made the game worse, right? It just seems like the game does actually just get worse when it gets infested with this kind of attitude. It's just less enjoyable because like everything in it is meaningless. Like you end up with like a dress-up game. But I guess some people like that.
What's crazy is like with Guild Wars 2 is like the problems are the fashion, but in other games I've played, it's not the fashion. You can't kill the guy or girl.
Yeah,
they're so much stronger than you. It's like, why am I even playing this game? I'm outmatched everywhere I go. And that's why I see so many like MMO genre like pay to win games. Some pay to win I think is fine because like it doesn't really benefit you at all. Like there's no, I mean, you may hop on a mount faster. You may have a little house for cosmetic, stuff like that. It's not going to matter. But like when it affects your gear and someone is 30, 20, 40% stronger than you, and you're just never going to win. You're never going to kill them. It's like, why am I playing this game? So and they may be the person spending $5, $10 a month, $20 a month. But the person they're fighting is spending a lot more. They're just not going to play. And so you just see it slowly kill itself. The community just doesn't want to play those games anymore. Some people do, but not the larger portion of everybody.
No.
So how much of a problem was that in ArcheAge before it was re-released recently?
So I didn't play the initial ArcheAge, but I've learned from a lot of my friends in streaming the game what happened. Apparently when ArcheAge first came out, I think I was playing either Guild Wars 2 or another MMO at the time. And I remember the beta was pretty buggy, and I was like, this game doesn't look good for me. I don't know what I was playing. I was playing something else. Maybe been Star Wars Republic, maybe been Final Fantasy 14. I tend to go pretty hard into one MMO and stay there, so it's tough to sway me off of it. But the game was great. Then the pay to win came out, and it basically killed the game. I think the game, like, you couldn't even get in. It was like 18-hour queues, 10-hour queues. It was like impossible to play the game. And then the pay to win came out, and it just falls off. So the game started doing, excuse me, fresh starts, where they do a fresh start server. Everybody starts fresh, and the cash shop is like delayed for a month or two. Everybody comes back. Everybody's excited. Pay to win slowly starts creeping in, or pay to convenience, whatever you want to call it. And then everybody leaves again, which is kind of ironic, which is I'm playing ArcheAge Unchained. There's literally no pay to win. Like, there is nothing. There's nothing. The only pay to convenience I've seen is a storage you can put on your farm to hold stuff. You have to go to the storage, to that farm, on that character. Like, it's that's it. And like, that's a reach if you want to call that pay to win. But yeah, it's just gone the complete other direction. But a lot of people here, and it's a buy to play model. It's a different monetization model with kind of the Guild Wars 2 thing, where there's little plush pets you can buy. There's gliders, there's costumes. You can make yourself look different, but there are stuff in game, but most of the good looking stuff does come from the cash shop. The rare stuff does come in game. People will know that, but that's kind of their approach. But I want to ask you guys, what is your favorite monetization model? Because mine actually is sub. I think sub fee MMOs with a tiny cash shop that are like small things is like the best model. I think the $10 to $15 a month sub with a good company, knowing that, because I've worked in sales my whole life. I've also done mergers and acquisition. I mean, I've bought $250 million of companies myself, not with my money, but my company's money. I've bought. I mean, if to put that in perspective, Guild Wars 2 made $67 million in 2018, something like that. So a lot of companies. But they all have different models. But I think the best model out there for the company to be successful, to put good content, to have what we want, is the light cash shop that you don't really care about or even know the gaming unit has, with a sub fee. And people just don't like it. I'm not sure why. I know that is tough for some people, even if it's $9 a month. Some people argue that's too much, but those same people may spend $50 that month in the cash shop and something else. It's like the mentality of way that we have to take this money from you, put some on the defense, more so than the value of the money is. It's like something else. Because I would rather give a game. Yeah,
the mandatory nature of it.
Yeah, give a game $15 a month to know I'm gonna get raids, I'm gonna get PvP, I'm gonna get content, and then look, there's a cool scarf to make the look I'm going for in the market. That isn't one you can get game. And Teapot, to your point earlier, I think the stuff you get in game should always look better. And the stuff you get in the shop should be like the diet version of it. It's like, man, that is a super cool sword.
Store brand.
The store brand, the knockoff. It looks good for someone just getting in the games. They're not walking around in a burlap sack, looking ridiculous. Because some games starting gear, you look rough. But I do think the rare stuff, like the legendary armor and stuff like that, like make it look so damn good that everyone wants to go for that achievement. People want to grind hard. Devora had a point on this. He said, I want to stay in town and look good enough that the players that are new are like, what did that guy do? How did he do it? I've got to go do that. And I think when you take that away, you kind of kill that mentality out of people.
Yeah, I'm definitely inclined to agree there. With certainly with the subscription fee. It's not that I think the other ones cannot work. For example, I think if you go down the buy to play with cosmetics, I think I have a complicated view, guys. I can't believe it. But I'm actually okay with cosmetics. I'm very much like with Mike here on this. As long as the game is providing me with the good fun and the big content, right? I have absolutely zero issue with like a pay to cosmetic, right? I really don't have a problem with that. I don't care if you can buy a super shiny sword as long as the game's fun, right? And I think this is why people didn't complain about all the skins in the gem store in Guild Wars 2 around HOT, because the game was in its peak there. It was in its prime. And it's only now when the game is kind of on a bit of a downturn and struggling to sustain itself, and people are discontent and no longer that happy with the game, is when you see people complain, because now those things that weren't a problem before kind of are a problem now. Like no one was paying attention to like the gem store fucking skins, like all the glider skins that were being released, right? Like back then, like except Brazil. Brazil didn't like it.
I think people
right?
have been actually. Like people have been complaining about outfits specifically for a long time.
That was because outfits are just bad, though. I mean, I don't know. Would you agree with that? I think it was. Do you think it's more about the design of how outfits work rather than? the
The-
outfit
the-
itself.
The biggest or the most common complaint I think I see is that they're not armor skins. They're not individual pieces.
Yeah, it's
And,
the whole
you know,
thing.
that's to do with
Yeah.
flipping and all that.
That was my complaint. You put an out that mist outfit
Mm.
came out, which is great, but it just dominates your whole character. You can't mix and
Yeah,
match.
you don't look unique anymore. You look like
Yeah.
everybody else. All you can do is dye it, maybe.
Remember that
sweat.
thing came out? Oh my god! Speaking of having people the mist wearing it, every what are they called? What's the Asurans? I'm gonna call them Lalafell. Every Asurans dropping Corona 5 or whatever on their Holosmith you can't see are all in that little mist outfit.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good outfit as well.
But it's also kind of exciting when you like the game because you're like, wow, this game is doing really well with the money.
No.
Uh,
Yeah,
I think the model depends on the game though. I think like look at Battle Royales. They do great with the cosmetic, what's it called? Like premium pass model. Like that's their thing. Light subscription if you want to. Or you don't have to. And then just a whole bunch of cosmetics they roll through every few weeks, or some games it's like hourly, like every 12 hours there's a new outfit.
yeah.
It's only up for 12 hours.
It can definitely work with some games. I think with the like MMORPG genre, it just seems that the kind of the development costs are very, very high, right? So in order to sustain yourself, you need to just be generating. It's like the development costs are high, and the audience compared to stuff like Fortnite is considerably less.
Oh.
So to sustain yourself, you kind of need to have almost like consistent income that allows you to not be on the treadmill. Because like the way I see it with ArenaNet is that they're on a treadmill right now. They've got to keep making mount skins. If they don't, they do not have sufficient income, right, to continue the development of the game. So they have a lot of effort going into mount skins and stuff, and the cosmetics and that sort of thing. The game. I mean, they can't. They've only got like Ben on PvP now. That doesn't work anymore. That's no good because PvP is maybe being revived a little bit, but still, you know what I mean, right? I think it can really stress the company. Like I think it works as long as everything is going well, but I think once you kind of get into a hole, it can be really, really, really problematic as well. It's not that it can't work, it's just it seems very difficult to make it work without it becoming slightly insidious, right? Like it's the same with pay to convenience. It sounds like, oh, that doesn't sound so bad, just a little bit of more convenience. Then the game it kind of just goes down a slippery slope and you end up with like incredibly degenerate gameplay, right? So it just seems that the sub fee on paper is the best way to safeguard the integrity of the game. And it's fair for the consumer, and also kind of keeps everything on the straight and narrow. As well.
People forget, like these are businesses; they have to have revenue, they have to have EBITDA, like they got to be making money. They got to keep their costs down, they got to keep their revenue up, they got to produce cash. If they're not going to produce cash, they got to produce so much revenue and so much growth that another investor, NCSoft, whoever's investing in this company or game, whatever, is going to say, this thing is growing like a weed. It's producing so much revenue. Keep pumping cash into it. Keep it growing. Because eventually, if you're not going to keep growing, your growth stops and your revenue just kind of holds, then you got to trim fat to cut your costs to get your EBITDA to produce cash. Like you got to figure out how you're doing it. So is it through a submodel? Is it through a submodel monetization? Is it through cosmetic? You have to produce money. These people just think, make the game better. It's like, listen, they want to, I'm sure, but they have to also, it's a software as a service. It has to produce money. And you have to kind of, eat some humble pie to know the game eats money. Like I see some people get really frustrated when a game provides even the littlest thing for money. It should all be free. Like, listen, man, these people aren't working for free. Like they have kids, they have a family, they have to put food on their table. So you got to find the happy medium. But when you take it to BDO, like a costume's $35. $35 for a costume. And guess what? You're not even going to wear it. You're going to break it down into a stone so you can click it and blow it up and it's gone. You turn $35 into dust. And I've seen people do that 30 times in a row. And it's just
my God. Yeah.
It's crazy. And it's just, but people I think forget that a little bit, but I agree with you. I think the light sub fee, and I saw someone in chat say every country's different because the median income or mean? I think it's median. Not everybody can afford a sub income, and that depends on where they live and all that stuff. And some countries do base it differently. Not all, I know, but it would be fair that some countries can't sit there and say I can't afford $10 or $15 a month. My computer is the base computer, and I get it, but I think also maybe games need to be more, I guess, sensitive to that if that's truly a real thing, a real problem.
Well, I imagine it would be really difficult to actually say like adjust pricing based on region, because then everyone would just like use some cheeky VPNs or something, and like, that'd be very abusable, right? Like if they wanted to.
Well, so in BDO they have South America has its own server, like MENA, Middle East, North Africa, they have their own server, and then Russia has their own server, EU has their own server. You kind of break it out. I guess you could do it that way, but it is tough. But I mean, personally, like, I'm 34. I'm not young anymore, but this is like my favorite hobby. But when people tell me they can't afford $10 a month for anything, their excuse, I just say quit playing video games. Like, that is, you got to wake up at some point. $10 a month you can't afford, like, do something. I mean, if you're 18, 17, 16, that's a different story. But if you're like 25, 28, yes, you're gonna be waking up to a weird, so this is our escape from the world. Don't escape so much that you escape the world too much, then you hurt your real life.
For sure, right? It's that's kind of like the coffee meme there, right? Like if you can't spend that much on your hobby, then I don't know, dude. Yeah, what the hell's going on? Like maybe you don't like it that much. However, I cannot let us go unopposed here, because I know that Mike has a different take on this, and let's go. Bring the energy, bring the fire, bring the heat.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that position that you just talked about, Envy. It's not that I can't afford the sub fee. It's just that I have to weigh, do I want to pay, I mean, if I wanted to play Classic WoW, I'd have to pay £10 a month, right? Do I pay £10 a month to play this one game? Or do I take that £10 and invest it in 2 or 3 indie games on Steam? And for me, it's again, context sensitive. Like, I don't know about WoW, and that slight hesitation says to me, no, I shouldn't pay that, because I know I'm going to enjoy these other two or three games more, or 2 or 3 older games on Steam, or whatever the case may be. And it's difficult to justify, because I have to make a sacrifice somewhere, and you've really got to weigh up, like, is it worth it? Is the thing I'm sacrificing worth what I'd be getting out of WoW? And for me, that's just not the case, and that's been the case with pretty much every sub-fee game that I've ever wanted to play. Like, I looked at BDO when it was coming out, I thought, oh, this looks brilliant. Like, the combat looks fantastic, but I can't justify what you'd actually
paywall to play it,
and the pay-to-win aspect as well. You know?
And that's another thing. Like, Plenix and I were talking the other day. We were playing, or I was playing Star Wars: Old Republic, just going back, checking out different MMOs, and they have this like completely free to play model, right? Which is like very, very, very rough, just skewed version of the game. And they have this like preferred model where like you have once been a sub before. Actually, no, there's another layer between that. There's the free to play model, which you can buy credits to unlock things you want. And there's a level above that, which is preferred, which means you've been sub before, but you're not currently sub, and you get some benefits. And then there's sub. So it's like a 4-tier system, and I've never seen that in another game. It may be out there, but it's kind of a cool system, because if you want to go all in, that's your game. Like, I am just playing that game, I sub. But like you, if you're like, I want to play other games, you get the free version. And if all of a sudden you're like, I'm not really enjoying those indie games, I'm going to put a little more time into this, then you can either buy what you want, like unlock raids, unlock PvP, which usually isn't the best conversion for your money. It's better to sub, but maybe that's the thing that these companies need to do, is meet people halfway, give them a different, which may take more money to build that model. But if Teapot is like, he's going in, that's his game, he's subbing, he's buying cash up, I'm free to play because like I just play once a week with my buddies, and then Mike, you're in the middle, like having that different tiered model, you're getting revenue and money from all the spectrum of people that could play the game. You're not keeping anyone out. But I think with that comes the difficulty of keeping it pay to win or pay to convenience, because when you put
isn't this kind of what ESO does with its optional sub fee? But people have problems with that too.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the ESO thing is It's like a premium service. As I understand it, it gives you some convenience for having the premium, and I believe it also gives you access to all of the DLC as well. DLC? I don't even expansions. I guess is probably what,
sort of.
Yeah,
That's a weird
probably
term,
it's probably the way I would go with it, right? Because I have to say, like, I mean, maybe I'm just a pega. It was late at night, right? Someone said you should play ESO, Teapot, so I went on ESO's website, right, and I was like, what am I supposed to buy? Right, I just wasn't really sure what part of the game I was supposed to even buy.
You know what? I was doing this exact same thing for WoW the other day.
It's crazy.
I went onto Blond's website and it was like, what do I pay? Do I have to buy the box or not? Like, because they're selling whatever the, like, Battle for Azeroth or whatever. I'm like, do I need to buy that box to play Classic, or would I just need to sub? Or, like, I literally have no idea.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen how clear it is, but yeah, there's no box price for Classic, just the sub. But yeah, well, if that's not clear, they should fix that. Bad.
So why is Battle for Azeroth like £23-25 on their website? What's that?
Because they're probably just trying to shovel people into it. They're trying to put it on. Is it on sale or something like that? Are they trying to do that in order to? Because WoW is like hot topic right now, right? They're probably trying to bait people into also buying the retail and playing retail, I imagine, as well.
Proceeds go to support Hong Kong. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, be careful there.
I mean, Blizzard better be careful of BlizzCon, dude. That's all I got to say. That's going to be extra spicy.
See the kid at the NBA what he did on camera?
That was good. The t-shirt. The t-shirt. That was really good, actually. That was well played.
I saw that. I was like, wow, this kid's got skills, man. He did a bait and switch on him.
There was some really fantastic points brought up by both of you, though, as well, actually, like with regards to the sub fee and like the tiered system. Like that's a really very solid take on like the sub fee thing from you, Mike, because like it is.
Inks mentioned something a while ago.
Oh yeah,
I'm completely forgetting now that I bring it up and interrupt you. So sorry about that.
Yeah.
It was the risk of buying one or two indie games instead of paying the sub fee for that game. For me, I'd counter that by saying, if I didn't necessarily enjoy those games as much, at least I'd still own them and have access to them without having to pay more. You know, I can come back to those in a couple of months when I feel more like doing.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, if I didn't like, or didn't have time, or something came up during my sub for WoW, then I'd just be stuck, and I'd be like, well, I guess I'm not.
Yeah, you can't connect to the server.
Yeah. You know, that's a very good point. And you know what? The opportunity cost is a really, really big thing, right? Because there are plenty of single player games out there, right, that are not based on a sub fee or anything like that. You can invest in these games and potentially have a good time, or even not. And then even if it was only a mediocre game, right, you might end up coming back and playing it again, even if it wasn't like the best game in the world. So yeah, that's a very legitimate argument. Like there are certainly pros and cons here to all of these models, and I think Envy, like the second like, really, really solid point there at monetization was like, I think maybe we need something that's almost like a hybrid system, right?
Yeah.
Where you kind of mix and match these together, and I think we had the answer back in Mike's original game, like RuneScape. I think the way RuneScape does it is actually really good, right? Yes, the membership in RuneScape is certainly an old school. Yeah, like if you don't have membership, I think you are missing out on the bulk of the game and probably the best parts of the game. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Have you guys played RuneScape? Right?
Yeah, I never have.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
So
one of my buddies is a big player into it, but I don't know about it.
Teapot, you know how members items work, right? When you lose your sub and
they don't
lose
work.
Your membership.
Yeah, on a free play. Yeah.
Envy for you and for everybody else that doesn't understand how this works. If you have members-only items, so items that you can only get if you pay the sub fee, say like dragon armor, right? This is like one tier above what you could max out in free-to-play. So if you've got dragon armor, your sub runs out, and then you're running around in free-to-play with this stuff. All of these items are now, instead of being like dragon legs, dragon plate, dragon helmet, they're now just called members item. They have 0 stats, 0 worth. Like they're nothing. They're just like feathers, pretty much. They're absolutely worthless.
Star Wars does the same thing. You can't wear purple gear unless you're a sub. So it's on your armor, but the stats are blanked out. It's like you're wearing paper.
But if you're stuck in free to play with this stuff, you can still run around wearing it and looking cool. but you don't get any benefit from it. So, you know, if you've got like an abyssal whip, I'm talking like long. My knowledge here is really old, but if you've got an abyssal whip, which used to be one of the best weapons you could ever have, but you go into free to play and you start hitting with it, your animation just looks like you're punching with it. It's just kind of weird. Like, it doesn't work. That's so that you don't. It's so that you don't have advantages over free-to-play players in their free-to-play worlds, right? So it's a fairness thing. There's also other limitations, like if you then take off those items that you're now wearing, you can't re-equip them at all. They're just stuck in your inventory.
Yeah.
Your bank has a certain limit to it. So if you're a free-to-play player, let's say you've got like 100 slots. But if you're a member, let's say you have like 1,000 slots. My numbers are completely off, but it's the way it works. So if your bank has, let's say, 110 items in it when you lose your sub, that bank is sort of locked. Like, you can't place any new items in the bank, but you can place stackable items in the bank. So as long as you plan out exactly what you're going to do and you're careful with your bank when you lose your sub, you can still play the game to almost maximum efficiency as a free-to-play player. So let's say you go, well, I've got 10 logs in the bank of very different wood qualities. Well, you can still go and woodcut and then store those logs in the bank because they'll stack. Unfortunately, if you unequip your armor, your members' items, and you don't already have those in the bank as well, they're just stuck in your inventory forever until you resub.
Okay.
So there's limitations, but as long as you're smart about it, you can actually work around these quite well. And in fact, I got various level 99 skills in free to play. I did fire making, I did wood cutting, I did cooking, I did I don't remember, but at least those 3 purely in free to play areas, while my sub was like just, you know.
So do free to play and paid players not play together, or is there some places
they
to play together? Okay.
They can. There's different worlds, different servers that you can join, and you can just join whichever server number whenever you want to, right? So members could come into free-to-play worlds and do whatever they wanted, but, you know, if they bring members' items and members' tools, let's say like a dragon pickaxe, then it just won't work. It'll just be a nothing item.
No. And that kind of
the tiers.
That like level of permanence, right, can maybe make the sub fee maybe like you're less forced to play the game. This is something that when it comes to sub fees, people are like, if I buy the sub, I've got to play, right? And it's understandable, right? And because otherwise you want to get your money's worth out of something that you have invested in. Like, personally, I do think video games are very high value products, right? Considering like the alternative sources for entertainment, guys, also quite expensive, right? But video games pretty cheap, considering like how much juice you can squeeze out of them, especially the kind of games that subscription fees tend to be, right? Like they tend to be for MMO RPGs, right? Which, I mean, like I'm 15k hours into Guild Wars 2, right? Like, dude, I'm actually scared to type /played in Classic WoW because I'm actually already at like 28 days played, and Classic WoW came out like 2 months ago, I think, or something like that. Wait, yeah, about 2 months ago. I think you're like, on the date, that is quite scary, actually. How much I've actually played that game.
You didn't sleep like the first week, I don't think.
No, didn't do any of that. No sleeping at all. So yeah, it's a little bit on the spooky side. But yeah, I don't know. It's I think I got my money's worth out of that one. That's for sure. It feels weird, man. He feels weird, man, anybody? Yeah. And perhaps like this is the solution, to go and have like almost like a free to play experience. Like, I think Guild Wars 2 tried to do this as well. They have done this. In fact, they've done this very successfully. Like, the free to play aspect of the game allows people to try it out. And that's that risk you're talking about, Mike, right? Like, what if you don't like Guild Wars 2? So suppose that Guild Wars 2 is a sub game, right? Like, what if I hate the game? Then I've just wasted like $15 on my sub, and it's shit, right? Well, that's okay.
The same would apply for like in any other game as well. Like, just to point that out. But just the simple fact that you'd lose access to it if you didn't continue
Yes.
the sub is the problem.
It's that lack of permanence, right? With a sub fee game in particular, because if you buy a box, back in the day when you buy a box price for World of Warcraft, like, oh yeah, you've just got a shiny disc that doesn't do anything now. It's like without your sub fee, so it's like, oh yeah, you can have it as a nice ornament, I guess.
Kind of crazy. You can't even log in, right?
Yeah, you can't even log in if you don't have a sub. You're not getting in. In fact, I was doing a dungeon with a guy yesterday. This is so it's so funny. This happened a few times actually.
It happened in Rag like a few weeks back.
Yeah. Some guy. You're absolutely right. Yeah, we were doing like a raid boss, and some guy's sub ran out, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, I got to resub to WoW."
Holy shit! Just like
out the dungeon or what? Him out of the game. Yeah.
So, yep, you're done. Get out. There you go. Shoot.
You're done.
Yeah, you're done. You're done, pleb. Get the fuck out. Yeah. So it's some good memes, and yeah, so maybe having that free trial, that free to play system allows you to try before you buy, right, and see if you're really going to like that. Because in that, if you say play through old school RuneScape, right, in free to play, and you go, dude, this game's actually kind of good, right? This is a pretty good. I'm having a good time here, right? I might chuck a bit on the sub here. You're then kind of pretty sure you're going to like the game and you're going to get value out of that subscription, right? And the same would be for any other MMO, right? Like, and perhaps maybe more games, and in particular subscription fee games or MMO games, that sort of thing, need to kind of switch over to that model then, like a slightly more modernized, hybridized system where players will be able to figure out if they're going to like it, right, before they actually go in on it, right? To access the best stuff.
We used to get demo discs in PlayStation Magazine and stuff like that. Whatever happened to demos?
I remember that.
On Steam
Yeah.
The magazine would be wrapped and it would be like inside it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Crash Bandicoot, Hercules, and Medieval, and all these kind of great games.
I forgot about that.
Or like Final Fantasy with first month free to try. I think first month free to try is an inferior system in this particular context, because it says, oh, okay, as soon as I start this trial, I have to start playing it, right, and see if I like it. I think, I don't know, just why not let people have access to like the first 30 levels or something? Or, well, maybe that's not the best idea in Final Fantasy, but
Yeah. I'm not buying this. What is this?
You guys brought up that the leveling systems in a lot of these games aren't inherently all that fun to deal with. So if you're limited to levels, then is that really going to give people a good impression of what the game is like?
No, that's true.
Especially if you're looking at Final Fantasy, and most people say, "Oh, just pay to skip it,"
Oh, apparently this already is the case. I've been misled. Apparently it is free until you're level 35. There you go. Easy. You can already do it. Yeah, and that's. But in a way, that's the failure of the game. Like it's, and that's perhaps why I would critique the free-to-play experience of something like Guild Wars 2 or World of Warcraft, because in WoW you can free-to-play up to the you can free-to-play if you buy like level 20, or if you buy the box you can play everything except the latest expansion. No. If you sub, you can play up to Legion, can't you? You have to buy the box to play the expansion. Okay, yeah. So there is a free trial, but like playing through WoW like to level 20 is like nothing like what the game actually is. That's
no, not at all.
And the same with Guild Wars 2. I think the core Tyria is nothing like the actual good parts of the game. When you get to Heart of Thorns and Path of Fire, like it's a very different experience. Even the storytelling is such a different experience. Like if you're going to go for this kind of model, you have to guarantee that your game is kind of uniform, right? It has to be. If you play this trial, you should get a good slice, a good flavor of the entire game as a whole, right? And I think that is not easy. I'm not going to start bashing companies for not being able to do that. It's a difficult thing to actually be able to pull that off. But yeah, perhaps that is something that we need to see more of. Yeah, just go ahead, Guild Wars 2. Just go ahead and rework the entire leveling experience. Let's go.
I think somebody in chat brought this up as well. Like if you have a specific model in mind, like Guild Wars 2 was buy to play. You buy the box, you get to play it, no sub fee. And then you swap that business model at some point, then you have this kind of a problem that occurs where you get this weird slice of the game. It's like Guild Wars 2's base game is free to play, but like you said, you don't really get a good idea of what the game is like because you just have the base game, and the base game isn't what the expansions are like, and the expansions are the good content, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like you need to, when you redesign your business model like that, you also need to somehow build a better trial system into the game instead of just dumping people into the old content.
No, it's certainly
probably
true.
not a good investment either, is it?
I suppose that's what they tried to do with the level boost, right? And that's why the level boost exists and why it does exist in MMOs, and why I'm quite sympathetic actually towards like the idea of a level boost, because games change over time, they evolve, and Guild Wars 2 as it is now is so different to how it was in vanilla Guild Wars 2, right? That starting now, it's kind of, it makes sense to get to level 80, right? It doesn't make sense to start the game at like level 1 because it's just so weird. I mean, you could, but it's going to be quite a bit of a bumpy ride, right? Like they tried to rework some of it and like re-roll the story and change that, but it didn't really work out that well. Like, I mean, yeah, Blizzard did this with Cataclysm, but even Blizzard's they admitted that it wasn't worth it. It was like a huge amount of effort, and it was like, but it didn't really do anything. Like, it didn't really work. Like, it's really hard to keep like the tail end of your MMO up to date with the head, right? Like the head is like running away, like tells like, oh, wait for me. And it's like it's because of the evolution of the game, like continuously updating every single area of the game. It's very difficult task to undertake, right? With all this stuff, yeah, it's really, really hard. Giving you that slice of the game, it's very, very difficult. Blizzard did too much, more than they needed to. I don't know. I thought Cataclysm got a bad rap. I kind of like that expansion. Everyone hated Vashir, like the underwater combat zone. That was really cool. It was one of my favorite zones in the game. Yeah.
I thought the only bad expansions were Warlords and Legion. Or not Legion, excuse me, BFA. Legion was great.
Yeah, Warlords did not go down well. That was a weird one. Like they kind of, they made the garrison there. That was a big mistake.
Yeah, the garrison was like everybody hung out in their house, like nobody hung out with each other.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. The sub fee is a disadvantage of competing with other sub fee games. You're not a big deal. You can't get to charge sub fee. WildStar flopped because of it. WildStar didn't flop because of its sub fee though. There are a lot of issues with that game.
WildStar's content was so difficult. The average, like even the hardcore players were having trouble.
Yeah, so they somewhat miscalculated when it did. Like Bix the Snake is talking to me on Discord, dude. Bix the Snake has just messaged me and said, "Yo, add me to the TeaTime." Let's make some memes. I think that'll be happening. But I'll definitely talk to Bix some other time, man. 100%. Like if he wants to be, I haven't talked to Bix for ages. What the fuck, dude? That's crazy. I'm not yet. Okay, guys, if you love the snake, you have to put the snake in the chat, but otherwise it's no good. I think that, do you think we kind of wrapped it up on the kind of sub fee, or like almost like kind of the business model aspect of the topic? Do we have anything else to say about subscription fees and microtransactions, that sort of thing?
I think on paper I'd agree with you that sub fees are the most intelligent way of dealing with things, because then you expect a certain level of quality and you're providing that income for the company and that stability, and then they can produce that stuff.
Agreed.
It's just that it doesn't always work in practice. So it's hard to really have that confidence unless you absolutely know the company. And we all know Blizzard. Wait a second. Is that a good thing nowadays? Is that bad? See, that's an issue, isn't it?
That was good. That was good, Mike.
No, it is an issue. It does require a lot of trust between the consumer and the company. And that's something that has certainly broken out. If you look at the games industry right now, there is, I think it would be fair to say there's quite some animosity between any company that isn't CD Projekt Red and the player base, right? I think that would be fair to say. Yeah. Oh, dude, Bethesda is having
the guy got the other website is trolling them, like amazing.
Yeah, Bethesda is not having a good time right now either. They're like public enemy #1 right now. Actually, like EA is like breathing a sigh of relief, and now And now,
a lot of people have been
they're
saying,
paying
"Hey,
credit.
when you make a mistake, you should double down." I think Bethesda have done that, and well, we've seen that not go so well for them.
Yeah, dude, that I saw
Oh,
it. I
my
thought it was a
goodness.
meme, then I realized it was real. I didn't play the game, but someone sent me a meme video of Fallout 70, whatever the game is called, and like how broken and bad it was, and it's just been like a big miss, and they just keep like digging their hole instead of like coming out and owning up and fixing it. They're just like, yeah, this is fine. Like the ship is sinking. And they're like, no, we're good. What water? Like they're just
no,
trying to be all
it's-
smiley, but it's like
it's
going down.
Based on feedback, Envy, based on the feedback we've received about how the game plays, we've added this to the game to help people with their problems, and
Well, we
that
see how
help
ArenaNet
is
handles
a
feedback.
subscription fee
Mm.
and a camp and a storage box that eats your items and deletes them.
Yeah.
Of course, that's
Oh.
not intended, but Bethesda.
That's another thing. Never change your business model, by the way, guys, unless you're going to like a less aggressive form. Like you can kind of go down, but you can't go up. You can never go.
Actually, well said.
Yeah, you can never say, okay, we're a buy-to-play game, but now we've got a sub fee. You can't do that. You can take the sub fee away, but you cannot add it back on, okay? That will never work. Like, you will actually suicide your game if you attempt that, which is why you've got to be so careful when you're making a game. Like, oh, who'd have thought it, right? Imagine... I know ArenaNet would never do this, but I would love it so much if they did an April Fool's joke that they're adding a sub fee. I would love that. They should do it like a
Reddit thread.
Yeah, the Reddit thread would be so good. Actually,
Explode, Teapot.
it would be
Trick question, of course we do.
amazing. If they say, yeah, by the way, guys, like coming this April 2nd, a $15 sub fee for Guild Wars 2 to make sure they've got the good content. But yeah.
Just add the China model into this one.
Oh, that would be spicy. That's proper pay to win, man. That's good.
Wait, does China's have a different model for Guild Wars 2?
Yeah. The Chinese one is like there's like a premium thing, and there's also like mild pay to win as well.
What can you pay to win in Guild Wars 2?
You can get plus 15 stat infusions instead of plus 5s.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, that's
I
like
like
almost
it. Yo,
worthwhile.
Yeah.
Sort
Tell me
of,
where I'm
maybe,
snipe
not
it.
at all.
Yeah.
CM100. Someone get
Yeah.
cello.
So it's not like super pay to win, but it's like just a little bit, you know. Like a little,
Hey, that's how it starts. That's how it starts.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Warrior banners, pay to win.
Oh man, that's some good memes. That's for sure.
So obviously, pay to win extremely bad, but I think the main question that I wanted to ask this tea time was: at what point does pay to convenience become also kind of difficult to stomach?
Yeah. This is a really
lot of
big
games
point.
have this, and ultimately, as long as it's not pay to win, most people are going to accept it. But at what point does it go? Actually, this is sort of almost pay to win in a way because it saved me so much.
I think what the real question there, kind of at the core of that, kind of hiding beneath that question, is what is pay to win, right? I think it's a very difficult thing to even define in a game, actually. Like, what is pay to win? Because actually, I definitely should ask Envy about this, actually, because when I've been talking about BDO sometimes, and I haven't played the game, and a friend of mine, Frosty, who has played the game, he says he doesn't really view it as pay to win, right? But on the other hand, everyone else seems to say it's pay to win. So I get mixed messages like, is it pay to win? Is it not pay to win?
What
So
is
BDO is
winning in
everything.
BDO?
Yeah. So like the way I break this down because I've played every pay to win game. So there's extreme pay to win, which is real life currency, your money, the dollar or fake European money, to a gain in the game. Like if I can take my money and say, wow, that's a better weapon, swipe and get it, and you can't do that, and I get that just clear-cut advantage, that's a pay to win. Pay to convenience is we're both playing the game together, and we're carrying some trade packs across Tyria to Frostgorge Sound, or whatever it's called, and you go faster because your cart can hold more weight, but you bought that. It didn't cost much money. It's not like a crazy advantage, but it is nice. It's just a convenience. It doesn't make you better than me. I'm still going to get there. It doesn't change anything. I get the same money, but you get there faster. So you didn't get a real gain in the game, but you got a gain in life. You saved more time. That's what I call like a pay to convenience. And then There's RMT, which is just awful, real money trading, to where I basically give you $200. Either you log on my account or you send me gold, or I take my money straight to you and we trade stuff. Which is why I find trading in MMOs needs to be very, very, very limited, or it needs to be just extremely scrutinized and watched. Because if you have trading, typically you have forms of RMT, and you can get around RMT without trading. You can buy an item on the market board, and you can list a shoe for 200 gold, and someone buys it, you get 200 gold, but they can kind of flag and catch that stuff, the market manipulation. But pay to win is just a clear cut advantage. Pay to convenience it's a little bit of an advantage,
So
but you may not use it. So like
Yeah.
a player may not want that. So I don't care about that. It's not for everyone. It's not a core part of the game, but it is something in the game. So, and then pay to win is just like, it's a flat up advantage that is a bold, flat core mechanic of the game. So look at pay to win as like black and white, and then pay to convenience as
It's a gray area.
sometimes it's a gray, because it may, you get flippers that make you swim faster in the game to go gather underwater. I don't give a shit about gathering underwater. It doesn't affect me. You're not going to fight me in PvP. It's not going to be a world, but it does give you an advantage. And for those players, they may see it as pay to win, but that's like the small 0.1% of that community. But that's where I think pay to convenience is okay in a lot of games, because companies make money. You want the game you enjoy and love and are passionate about to make money, because it'll be here longer. Bill and Joe are going to have their job longer because we are out here making small microtransactions, paying a sub fee. If these games aren't making money, they're not going to be here anymore. So we got to remember that one. Like, you want them to make money, but you want them to make money in an ethical way that where you're okay with it, right? You're not like, disadvantaged from the game because Teapot put thousands of dollars into it, you didn't, and now you can never kill them in PvP.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, so that definition would be like, it's almost like the ceiling of what you can obtain in a game is like limited by how much money you put into it.
Sure.
Right. So like in that situation, yeah, like pay to win is defined as you can get an item that is like better than you could get without paying money, right?
Or just like insanely fast. Like in BDO, the way I say BDO is pay to win is you can sell 35 costumes on the market per week for in-game silver. Each costume is around $35 US. So if you buy 35 costumes that's a lot of money. People do this. They sell them every week. They get all that silver. Silver buys you everything. Everything is obtainable through silver. The best gear in the game may cost 22 billion silver. But if you can make that money every week, you're going to get it way faster than anyone else just playing the game. When say they're making an average of 100 million or 60 million an hour. Well, if you're bringing in a costume sells for 230 million silver, you're selling 35 of those a week. You got a hell of an advantage over that player.
But in a way, isn't that just pay to convenience though? You're just skipping the grind, right?
It is pay to convenience, but in the structure of the game and how the game works, it would still be a win, because anyway, the whole game is progression. How better can you progress your time and efficiency, either through life skills making silver or grinding making silver? And as you get more levels in these skills, as you get better gear, or as you get better at it, you do more money faster. So that's the win. And it is a gray area because it's not like a clear cut, but how the game is structured, and how much it affects the game. I mean, 100 mil is a lot in that game. So if you're getting 220 million for $30, but you're selling 35 costumes a week, like, no one's going to keep up with it. And also, I mean, people are legit doing that 35 costumes a week, paying someone to play on their account, and then they were buying in-game items. So it's like they were doing it all, and it's just pay to convenience. Don't worry about convenience, motherfucker. Like, I can't touch them. Like, what do you mean?
That's why it's slimy, though, right? That's why it gets really slimy, because they're abusing that gray area of, well, you could get it in the game. Just play 200 hours, buddy. Right? It's doable.
Yeah, one of my buddies is one of the top streamers for the game. Like, I mean, this guy has been top 3 in the category every day for 3 years plus. And I was talking to him off stream and Discord, and he said it's really disappointing that he has great gear, but it's these people that I fight and play against that don't play the game. They just open their wallet and have better gear than me or pass me, and it's like, I can't contend. And like, this guy is insanely skillful, and it's just, at this point, like, he can't keep up anymore. If you're not doing all that stuff, you're no longer playing the game. Now, that's at the very top. Doesn't affect everybody, but I mean, it's to the point in that game to where you cannot kill the person. Like they could stand still sometimes, and like it just takes forever. Like there's a fairy that pots, it'll pot them through your damage. Can't kill them. Like, so why play the game? You quit. And so that's where I think pay to convenience, pay to win ruins games, ruins communities, and you hate to see it. But I do think some pay to convenience is okay, because not like I'm back working full time again. So I'm 50, 40 hours a week at my job. Then I come home and play. There's some things that I would love to be able to get as a convenience that I can buy to have extra money to spend on the game, versus someone who doesn't need that, who's playing 6 hours a day. So you gotta have.
You do. That's why you've got to be so careful though with pay to convenience, and I think Guild Wars 2 as oh man, like this is really spicy. Like there's some stuff in Guild Wars 2 that is like it's so spicy actually. Like this stuff, it's so difficult. Like the difference between pay to win and pay to convenience, like it's almost negligible sometimes in my opinion. I
think Guild Wars 2 is because it's winning. Convenience is winning in Guild Wars 2.
Yeah.
In a way. And a friend of mine actually brings up an entirely other point that we're not even like realizing. All of these things are designed in a way that you have to pay for these convenient items to solve a problem that exists in the game that's also being designed. So that problem has been manufactured, and then but you could just pay this to get over that issue. Like if we're talking Guild Wars 2, we're talking stuff like the Copperfeld Salvage-O-Matic. We're talking like shared inventory slots. We're
fucking
talking
teleport
bag
to
slots.
friends.
Teleport to friends.
You know how many of those things I bought? God, I started a new character, and someone's like, "Yeah, I'm over here. Like, I'm in I got to teleport to them. I'd be buying keys, Mike. They got me.
They got you with
they got me, Mike. I got you with the keys. Teleport.
They got you with the keys. Oh
and
no! Oh
no! Get one. I'm buying more keys.
They got me with the keys as well, dude.
There behind the gym store, like, ladies and gentlemen, we got them.
Yeah.
And build templates coming out is the massive hot topic. Like, what do we even say about build templates? I think Deroya covered it the other day.
Yeah, this is
what
big.
He said, and I'd really like to have him around to hear that opinion, like again, just to like have it cemented like perfectly. Because I think I agree with him. I'm just questioning why specifically it was the build templates that pushed him over the edge, and I'd like to hear his opinion on that.
Well, I can semi-speak for him because he did basically tell me that. Like he said it's because like it was like this feature that was his endgame, right? He's an endgame focused player, and his big thing was that he wanted to have his 9 characters finished, right? Done, right? Like all of them done. To the point, like he's gonna regret that now. He deleted his ascended gear because he had legendaries on 9 characters on all the professions. Because
what would you need the ascended gear for, though?
Well, that's the thing. He wouldn't. But the thing is, the build templates he now does.
I actually don't know how they work. I haven't followed up on. I know that they're not. I know our DPS is better. Let's just say that.
So okay, sure. Here's how it goes, right? You can have a max. Everyone gets. There's 3 sections of this. 3 sections of build templates, right? So you've got your traits and skills and stuff, right? That's one section. You start with 3 of those per character. You can pay per character for another 3 more, up to 6. Okay. Then for equipment, everyone starts with 2 equipment templates. And you can buy up to 6.
Wait.
Up to 4 more for 6.
There's more than... Okay.
And then there's also the account, so that you can have like a library of builds. And everyone starts with 6 of those. Or either 3, but you get 3 for free in the first month. And then you can buy up to another... how many more is it? Is it 18 more?
There's 24 total.
24 total, yeah. So, like, yeah, people are obviously frustrated at this because they gave us, I want to say this, we don't know the costing right now, but apparently equipment templates and buildings are going to be priced around the region of bag slots and bank slots. So if you crunch the numbers, roughly...
So is that like... How much are bank slots? Is it 800?
Like 400, right?
It's 400
for
a
800.
Bag slots are definitely 400.
It's 400 and 600. I think a bank is 600 and bag is 400. So we crunched the numbers on this. Deroya would need like 12k gold or like $500 to max out all his characters. right? Or some, like something in that region.
Oh,
maybe.
that's what they were going for. They, like you said, they do this shit on purpose. Like ArcheAge, listen to this. ArcheAge Unchained is having difficulties adjusting because the game was designed to be pay to win. So now that's not pay to win, there's so many items we can't get because people were just normally buying them with their money. So they're having to like restructure the cost and just give things away because normally people have to swipe for them. The whole core structure of the game has changed because it was designed to be pay to win. Like that's what they're doing there. They're making those things. You don't need one, you need all of them. They don't want you buying that one option. Like when I sell in my business, like I'm in business development, what we sell is we sell 3 packages, A, B, and C. You don't want them to buy A. A is not enough stuff. You don't want them to buy, you don't mind if they buy C, but C is just super expensive and a lot of work. But hey, they're going to buy it. They're going to buy it. But B is like great margins, enough work, it's a good enough job for them. So you want them to go B. So you kind of bait them in. And that's what these games are doing. It's the whole psychological thing. It's the, oh, you want to sure you can buy this? Well, you could just buy this booze. You know, it's sales. Like, they got you.
Yeah, and this is what Mike was kind of getting at, right? Is that a lot of the times, what they're selling you is a problem that they made on purpose, right? Or like a problem that's within intrinsic to the game. So like, and here's the thing, guys. Like, this is a real tragedy, and about Guild Wars 2. Like, if build templates had come 5 years ago, I can almost guarantee that they would be free. There's absolutely no way they'd be charging for it 5 years ago because things were. It was a happy time back then. It would be in a feature pack, but because it's now, like, yeah, they have to charge for it, unfortunately. And the reason they're getting a lot of they're getting wrecked on this, like, one, because of the precedent from Guild Wars 1. This was free in Guild Wars 1, and the second one is that there was already a free alternative in the Arc DPS build templates version, which is why they got in a lot of trouble. But I think it's it's useful to look at the broader context here as well, like, which is what Mike was talking about, like how like microtransactions and pay to convenience, it encourages developers to make their game worse in order for you to not have to engage with the badness of the game, right? And that is a really, really sad thing, actually, that the game ends up being worse. Like, and please correct if I'm wrong, guys. Here, this is just what I've heard from my friends who have played ESO. As I understand it, ESO is actually very much like this. Like, if you don't pay for the premium service for ESO, like, the game is considerably more inconvenient and less fun for you. If you go without it, you can go without it if you want, but you're going to have an unfortunate time if you don't. Is that pay to win? No, of course not. Like, the game, it's not pay to win, of course not, but it's pay to have fun, right, in the game, right? And that is it's such a scary thing, man. It's so scary, like, when your game is kind of designed around this model, because it encourages you to make the game bad, so people want to pay for it.
Hamstring.
Yeah, they hamstring the game on purpose, so you can do that. And this is something that does happen quite commonly. Like, you could even argue stuff like Copperfed Salvage-O-Matic is like that, right? Or like how Guild Wars 2 like spams you with junk, right? Like, the Halloween event is actually really, really egregious with this, dude.
Guild Wars 2
oh my god, yeah.
That the game. I've had someone admit that the game was designed to give you an over needed amount of items so that you would expand your bags. It was part of the game design. So,
of course,
we know that it's obvious, but they've said, look, like, that's part of our model. I mean, but
yeah,
and they got little trips and falls. So you're like, oh, I'll just buy this, and they got them. And then they make it to where, the way they price this stuff, it's, you need 4,000 gems to buy it. We only sell 2,000 and 10,000. What you want? Like,
yeah.
They get you that way as well.
Yeah, that's a sad precedent to set, really, isn't it? Because this is completely pervasive within the industry. I think so many games are like this now. That you know what? I'm actually going to tell you guys a story, okay, about one of my saddest experiences ever in gaming. Are you guys ready for this? Are you ready, TeaTime viewers? So I really liked Plants vs Zombies. Okay, Plants vs Zombies 1 was my fucking jam, boys. Okay, I love that game. I beat it countless times. I went round and round and round and round again, like beating it, like planting my fucking winter melons, boys, like getting those zombies, right? And then Plants vs Zombies 2 was coming out, and I was so excited. I was like, dude, this game's gonna be so good. I'm so ready for this. Foolishly, I forgot to realize. Well, I didn't do my research, and I didn't know that PopCap had been acquired by EA Games. You can probably see where this is going. So I download Plants vs Zombies 2 onto my iPhone. I think it was onto my iPhone 4 at the time. I was all ready to play some Plants vs Zombies. I see the EA. I see the meme. And the game is complete dog shit because basically the game is designed around either you pay to skip levels, you pay for power-ups to like cheese the levels, and if you don't, you have to like grind out levels that you've already done, okay, to get through it. Like, oh no, I was so sad. I uninstalled the game within 45 minutes, I think. Yeah, 45 minutes I stopped playing the game because it was pure dog shit.
Dungeon Keeper did this as well, right? When it released, was that an EA game too? I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know. Well, let's find
Dungeon
out.
Keeper. God, I don't really remember the story all that much. I just remember Total Biscuit being very upset with this beloved franchise being completely destroyed.
Let's see. Dungeon Keeper Mobile. It was developed by Mythic Entertainment and released by Electronic Arts in 2014. What a fucking surprise, boys. Okay. Wow.
There's like every kind of mobile trapping you could think of, like time gating and you can only play this much and you can only earn this many things and you can only play this many levels per day and all of this kind of stuff. All of that just in there, just like, or you can grind for it very slowly. But you could pay to maybe speed the grind up, or you could pay a little more to not have to grind as much, or maybe you could pay a bit more to just unlock the next levels, or maybe you've grinded all you can grind today, so maybe you can just pay for a bit more grinding time. How about that? It's just...
It's horrible.
It stings. It's awful.
It is really, really horrible. And well, I'll tell you what, this is one topic that I think that you wanted to talk about, Mike. Like, why do you think this has happened? Because like some people would say, and I think that you could even argue there's some credence to this. Like, so well, the industry standards are a lot higher right now, right? You know, like making a game that is going to be like a 10 out of 10 game these days is a lot more expensive than it was, say, 10, 15 years ago, right? Like, if you look at like one of my favorite games of all time is Red Alert 2, an amazing game. Like all the Command & Conquer games are very good, except for the recent ones. But like, yeah, let's be honest here, boys. Right, that game was nowhere near as hard to make as say a modern RTS game. Right, that's just no way. Right? It wasn't as hard to make. But as technology has advanced, now you've got to have ultra super 4K RTX enabled, like a massive world environment, 100 hours of gameplay, fully voice acted, mega cutscenes, full 3D, right? So yeah, like the cost of developing games has gone up massively. So like, is some level of milking just... Is it almost necessary to support the industry? Is there a pricing issue with games? Is $60 like not enough to actually, get enough throughput, right, with the industry now? No, like, I don't know. Like, what is going on? What's going on here, Mike?
I feel like as gaming became more and more mainstream and became more and more kind of popular, you achieve this newer audience of people who are less inclined to jump through hoops that we used to have to jump through. So, like, I can't think of a specific example, but you know what? Let's talk Classic WoW, right? Classic WoW, you want to travel from point A to point B, you're going to have to fly. Flight takes a long time sometimes. Or you could walk if you really hate yourself. And that sucks, but people that played that originally accept that because there was no alternative, right? You just go, well, I mean, there is no alternative. We can't think of anything. I don't know. We got to walk. That's it. We got to walk. We got to fly. Those are our choices. So it takes us 15 minutes to get to the next place, and that's it. We just accepted that, and then as the audience widened, you get more and more people who get annoyed by that kind of feature. And they're like, wow, this really sucks. I don't want to pay this sub fee because this game has me do this. And I don't want to waste my time doing that because that isn't fun. So I'm out, I'm done. So then you get companies going, okay, we don't want to lose that audience because obviously that's our profits. So maybe we make it a bit faster? Oh, maybe we can make them pay for that fastness. Maybe we can give them like a first class ticket or a faster mount or something. Or maybe we can monetize teleports or something and take away that player economy of mages and warlocks summoning and porting people. So it's odd. As the audience increases, you get more and more people with this dislike of mechanics that we used to just kind of put up with. And I've lost my point. I think you kind of get where I'm going.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, it kind of is like a modern thing. People do like when the community extends out, right, and you get a wider audience, people kind of want you find a lot more normies, right, who want instant gratification. They want to get there right now. And yeah, like stuff like Classic WoW is a pretty good example of this. Like a lot of modern gamers will not be able to tolerate this game. I mean, I don't know, dude. Holy shit. I would not blame anyone for quitting Classic WoW, actually, because this game, it actually trolls you insanely hard. Like, especially if you're not used to it. Like, if you're used to older games, then you'll be fine, right? But if you've only played something like Guild Wars 2, then there is no way you will. Oh my god, like, it will take you a while to get used to Classic WoW. And yeah, there are some design issues with the game, that is for sure. But yeah, company said, you know what? This is a really good way to make money, right? Instead of saying, okay, let's just make the game better and make it more convenient, they were like, you know what? We're going to keep the game exactly the same and just make some extra money on the side and make people skip it.
And also, it's about keeping that audience, and the more of an audience you have, the better you can make the game, in theory, because you're making more money, you can put more of that money into developing that game, again, to suit the wider audience, and, you go up and up and up with that.
Yeah,
but it doesn't have
work like that.
Detrimental effects, doesn't it? Like these kind of creepy monetization effects that we see now.
Yeah, it really does. Like you have to hope that a company will actually be nice, right? That's the issue. Like it seems that a lot of the games companies kind of get corrupted, right? And instead of trying to make the game as best as possible, they try and make as much money as possible, right? Instead, at the expense of the game.
I'm fully aware that development costs, as you go up this route, obviously skyrocket. So you need to do some of these things. But oh god, if it doesn't leave a bitter taste in your mouth, I don't know what sort of gamer you are these days.
Yeah.
Which is why, specifically with the build templates, is annoying me specifically, because the precedent in Guild Wars 1 was that it was free. And with Guild Wars 2, well, with ArenaNet's bad PR sort of recently, and, I was hoping so much that they'd at least be free. Is a bit of a stretch. I was hoping that they'd be free, but I knew, in my heart of hearts that it wasn't going to be. But I was hoping that if they were going to monetize it, they weren't going to do quite as much as they've done. So, the triple dipping is a problem, the limits are a problem, the weird interactions with legendary armor and the fact that it's a loadout is a problem, and oh god, the pricing is an issue to me, because I don't feel like it's really microtransactions anymore. Ooh. I feel like they're just transactions, honestly. Yeah. You want to buy a mount skin pack? Oh, that's like half the price of an expansion. But like, where's the content in the mount skin pack? Oh, there isn't any. It's just skins. All right, so why would I not just save the money and buy the expansion instead?
Yeah,
it depends how much you want to spend.
It shows you where the actual income is coming from, right? In the game, right? The fact that Path to Fire, if you want to buy Guild Wars 2, it will cost you, I think I want to say $30, right? A bit over $30, like £25, $30,
something like that.
But you will spend. They are guessing that you're going to buy the game for $30. They're also predicting that you're going to spend way more than that, right? Through the microtransactions. Like the bulk of their income from you as a player is going to be from the microtransactions, not from the actual box price, right? And look, and this is why I don't put the blame entirely on the developers. Do you know what's a really big problem, Mike? Is that we keep falling for this, dude. You know what I mean? Like, why does the community keep doing this? Like, we are, they're a company, guys, right? That means they pay someone who's got a hat on and some glasses, who looks at the stats and says, okay, where's our money coming from? And every single time, it's loot boxes, mount skins, cosmetics, pay to win, right? Why does something like BDO thrive? Or why does like old ArcheAge thrive? Because people keep buying it, right? If literally every consumer in Guild Wars 2 said right fucking now, okay, we hate we hate the build templates, or we hate the mounts because or anything, right? Then they would change it, because they won't make any money. The sad tragedy is, guys, is that even though the Reddit got really, really mad and upvoted a few posts, like 1,000 upvotes on how much they hate build templates, okay, 99% of the player base is completely fine with build templates, right? And don't mind the fact that you have to pay for them, right? And will pay for them as well. Like, most people are actually happy, right? That's like finding...
On that as well, the people that will, just to spite other people, just to support their favorite company. And I'm all in favor of supporting your favorite company, but do it in a way that also encourages good business practice and friendly consumer practice as well. Not just because you happen to have this strange love for a faceless company that you're involved with. It's also a kind of sunk cost fallacy as well.
Oh yeah,
there too.
Very, very
Fallout
much so.
76 is hugely in that
Yeah.
sort of space right now. You know, you got people paying and defending the $100 subscription fee just because fuck you guys, essentially.
No, it's true, and this sort of thing always just collapses the developer player relationship, right? Like, I've never seen this level of animosity, right, between, say, ArenaNet and the player base, but then again, not. Like, this is the thing, guys, like, I know this is really, really hard, but because we're in this little bubble, like, you've got to bear in mind that even going on Reddit is way more than your average game will do, and that's not just Guild Wars 2, this is actually every fucking game, right? Like, why, okay, what do you guys think is probably the most hated games company, right? Overall, it's probably EA. I want to say I think they actually, if you Google EA, you'll occasionally see them represented by a swastika. They got voted in the USA as the worst company twice, I think, right? They're probably the most hated company. But hang on, guys. Let's look up EA yearly revenue, okay? Let's see how many people are actually upset. In the fiscal year of 2019, EA posted a net revenue of $4.95 billion. Yeah, those guys are really unpopular, Mike. Holy shit. Like, no one likes that. No one likes those games, man. Like, no one plays that shit. Like, this is the issue, is that, yeah, like, the vocal minority of kind of, like, really invested gamers, are really mad, and they're kind of, like, beating down on EA, but the trouble is like so many people buy this stuff, right? And this is what Mike was talking about, the wider audience, right? The wider audience is a lot more casual. They don't care as much, right? Like, it's not the it's not the end of the world. So I don't know. It's really, really difficult. Like, if you're a really hardcore, like, hobbyist gamer, like an enthusiast is the an enthusiast is the way of putting it, I suppose. If that describes you, then you're in a bad spot, because almost nobody is actually like that, and so no one gives a fuck. It's pretty unfortunate, man. It's pretty rough. When you put perspective on it, it seems kind of horrifying, man. It's pretty spooky. Feels pretty bad.
Big oof. Yeah, I'm just taking that in. The realization is hitting, and it hurts.
Yeah. It is
a
big
thing is being killed.
Yeah.
But it's being killed with love as well, because all these people, we want more people invested in our hobby, obviously. We want more and more people to play with, and so that the industry grows and does better. But at what cost, guys? At what cost?
And it's not all bad, right? There are plenty of extremely good indie games out there, and there are some companies who are still doing their best to try and make a really good product. But it seems that so many of our favorite titles kind of fall prey to the the evils of corporatism and capitalism. Like, we must rise up, we must unionize, my friends. We must seize the means of production. I'm gonna go in there and take all of their Apple Macs, okay? They're all mine, okay? They can't type even a line of code anymore, right? We're taking them all. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Wait, MMO Inc. I have stock in EA and Activision. I can't buy NCSoft because Guild 2 doesn't milk their players enough. Poor investment. Wow. There you go.
Have you guys played any of the Vermintide games? Well, either of the Vermintide.
I have not.
MD? No?
Nope.
So, just to catch you guys up, How about Left 4 Dead? Either you played Left 4 Dead?
Yep.
Not played Left 4 Dead, Envy. Jeez.
No, I guess I was Left 4 Dead. Hey. Sorry. It's my joke. I'll see myself out.
I appreciate.
No, I've never. I know the
fan of
game. I
those.
know it's fun, but I haven't gotten into it.
So, most people are going to recognize Left 4 Dead. I'm going to describe Vermintide as like basically a Left 4 Dead clone. So it's like a 4-player co-op romp. You know, you go in first person, sort of shootery, but more melee based. And it's in the Warhammer universe. You basically get from point A to point B in a map and fight a load of stuff as you go. They have DLC, and DLC is another kind of monetization feature that we haven't really talked about. And in a multiplayer game, typically, if you've got DLC involved, that's like extra maps or something like that, most of the time, you're going to need everybody in your team to pay for that DLC so that everybody has access to that map so that they can go and play it, right? Makes sense? Vermintide 2 does this great thing where only one person needs to buy that DLC. And as long as they host the game, everybody that they're playing with can then go and play that map without owning it at all. And they make progress. Like, they can get all the rewards from that stuff, sort of, minus the skin. But skins are skins. Who cares about skins, right? So, in other words, you know, I can buy the Bogenhafen DLC, go and load up those maps, and, you know, you guys could come and join my game, and we could go and play it, make all the progress, have all the fun, do all the stuff, whatever, and then come out of it and you guys haven't really lost anything and you haven't had to pay it either. It's a really consumer-friendly practice that they've got going on. And there's also achievements that you can make in-game, right? And they lock you out of those achievements because you haven't paid for them.
Right.
But here's the great thing. They also remember your progress. So if you'd ever do buy that DLC in the future and you've achieved a bunch of those things, boom, you get all that progress instantly. The game remembers. I think they're doing a great job of being really consumer friendly in that respect.
Well, and this is perhaps something that you know, we can be a bit more positive here about. Like, yeah, there are still some companies out there fighting the good fight for the consumer, I suppose. But I think this is where, like, you know, here in our little corner of the internet in Guild Wars 2, you know, I think complacency is the real enemy of progress here, to be honest, boys. And like, look, what do you see? Like, whenever something bad happens, you see people complain. But whenever something good happens, like, no one ever does anything, right? Like, that's how it goes. Like, oh yeah, like something really good happened in a video game. It's like, oh yeah, oh, look at 80 upvote thread. Okay, something bad happens in a game. It's like, oh, 1 billion upvote thread. You know, like, and there's like 1,000 comments shitting on it, right? Like, so what we need to be doing as the gaming community is that you need to be you know, kind of indicating that you want to see consumer friendly practices, and we want to see this throughout the industry as well, that you know, we want this and that we won't tolerate it. Like, you know, don't just say, yeah, like this business model is horrible. Like, say, yeah, like we really want to see this, like this was really good, we want to see this improve. Like, be the advocate for what you want to see in the game. Like, if we just sit here and in silence, it's no good, right? Like, oh yeah, it's good. Yeah. It's good. Now you gotta get out there, guys. You gotta be a consumer advocate, right? You know, like, there's some, you know, got a lot of YouTubers who do this sort of thing as well. But you know, like, yeah, make your voice heard, guys. You know, you in the society, we live in a society, guys. Okay, we do, and in the society that you probably live in, the dollars that you carry around are votes, guys. Use them wisely, right? But you can also be, you know, somewhat positive as well. You know, you can go there. There you go. Ubisoft took a hit and changed mind in not time. I don't really know what that means, but that sounds good. Wide peepo happy. I agree with Envy. Wide peepo happy indeed. Yeah. Do you like that one, Envy? Like, wide peepo happy?
That one, and then there's, have you seen Peepo Glad?
Yeah, Peepo Glad is really good. Yeah, we've got that one here as well.
Oh,
yeah.
Wait.
Oh, wait.
Yes, this.
Wait. Yeah, is that
this one?
Yeah. Oh, wait, I got it wrong.
Oh,
it's that one. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, something good happens, and I'll just look over and stream it. I'll just see a bunch of those and just instantly smile.
Yeah,
it's the cheesiest little face. Like, yeah, that was good.
Yeah, it's a good one. That is a good one. What you're
saying is we need more wide peepo happies and peepo glads in.
Yes, look at the chat.
We
do. Glads in chat. Let's
go. Yeah.
Look at chat.
We need that shit. We need loads of those. Whenever something good in the game happens, I want to see it mass peepo glads from now on. Right? I need to see that stuff.
But how dare you say that about strike missions, Teapot?
Yeah.
You're clearly completely wrong.
Oh, dude, I don't really want to even get into it actually about like some of this stuff. Like, and honestly, I understand that like in the past, like I may have contributed to this in a way. I think people kind of got the wrong end of the stick when I was talking about the game and critiquing the game. But in some gaming communities, and this is just like how fucked the entire game, the entire gaming community really is, not just Guild Wars 2. It's like if you even try and say something positive, right? People will disagree with you just because they want to shit on the game. There are so many people like who are on the Guild Wars 2 subreddit who do not play, but they will they will downvote any positivity and say how you're wrong if you try and say that there's something good about the game. Like I thought that I was gonna make a strike. I made a strike mission video, and I thought it was like incredibly uncontroversial. I was just like explaining them because like, yeah, it's really good, guys, right? And I was like, nope, it's trash. They're terrible. It's like.
What happened?
I mean, I don't know. Like, it's like, and some people accuse me of funneling into that, but I always think I've been fair in my criticism. I've never just like said, oh yeah, like the game is like dog shit, right? I've always given credits where it's due. I think there's people just like always like to watch 3 seconds of my stream and then like, take their entire opinion of my views from that, right? It's a good meme.
I've kind of had the opposite of that back in 2015 when Heart of Thorns launched,
Yep.
and I made an hour-long video, which I sort of regret wasting so much damn time on that bloody thing. But within the first couple of minutes, I say, I'm not going to say anything positive about Heart of Thorns. I'm just going to shit on the game, pretty much. Which was a complete lie, because I went on to talk about all the good things that it did and really kind of offer some suggestions on how they could improve bits and pieces. Because when Heart of Thorns launched, it was a very different game to what it is now, right? The expansion was hugely different and certainly nowhere near as good as it is now. And I got a ton of comments that are like, oh, you're just shitting on the game, you're an idiot, you're not listening. Completely the opposite result of what you got, Teapot. It's just bizarre. Like nobody's willing to really listen to discourse these days.
Yeah, and it's really annoying actually. Like whenever like there was something actually that was amazing. Like I think a TeaTime got posted to Reddit. Oh, I love this. This was so good actually. Like a TeaTime got posted to Reddit, and it was actually a really PMA TeaTime. Like we were kind of hyping something up for some reason. I'm not sure what it was exactly about, right? And like the top voted comment on the Reddit thread was like, dude, like all these guys do is shit on the game. And then right, they said that we shat on a particular part of the game, I think. Like, we were just, like, bashing the devs, right? I don't even think, like, the devs came up. Oh, yeah, I remember what TeaTime was. It was a TeaTime when me, Brazil, Boots, and Inks were reminiscing about our early experiences in Guild Wars 2, right?
Oh, that was fairly recent.
Yeah, it was fairly recent. And this one got posted to Reddit. It was called, like,
just before Classic launch.
Yeah, it was, like, the good old days, right? And then, like, the top comments were all saying, like, how much we were bashing the game. We didn't even talk about the game, right? It was a what? Oh, yeah, it was Nike. That's right. Yeah, it was Nike, not Boots. And I was like, dude, you wrote this comment and you didn't even watch it. It's like, what? I don't even know. It really scares me, like how. And then he got upvoted as well, like because people didn't watch the video and then upvoted him because they assumed he was right. Like
mob mentality.
This like I didn't even know. I didn't know how to describe it. It's like anti-information, anti-intellectualism. It has got to stop, guys. Like in the gaming community as well. Like when we look as retarded as we do to the developers, it's never going to work, right? Like seriously. Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh my God.
Yeah, I wish team would stop bashing Biggs the Snake, dude. You know I love Biggs the Snake. What the fuck? I'm gonna get Biggs the Snake on stream tomorrow or something, boys. Oh yeah, let's go. Like if he wants back in, if he wants memes, I'm bringing him back in. Like maybe he can call someone out. Who is there left to even call out in the Guild Wars 2 community at this point? I don't know. I'm not sure we can do. I'm not sure what we can do, boys. Oh, but yeah. Oh my goodness.
The same way, you've got money talks the same way as well, right? When we're talking about microtransactions or just monetization, because you have people who will just do or speak out or not spend or whatever those decisions might be. Those are very, very often not really thought about and considered what sort of effect that they're having on the greater population too. Especially, I'm going to sound really weird. When I say people like you, Envy, it sounds like I'm being insulting. It's not, I don't mean it that way. I'm sorry.
What do you mean, you
people?
Sorry.
Hey, look, somebody's calling me. I need to leave.
No, I'm playing.
No.
Yeah.
I'm talking people who are more willing to spend a vast amount of money, in my opinion, or whatever, more than the average, let's say. Have a bigger voice, and a voice in quotes to, the guys in charge of management and monetization departments and all that sort of stuff. And they can affect things more than a greater amount of, how do I put this without sounding like a that's not possible, is it?
You can throw me to the mud. It's fine.
No,
not
not you. Just
Oh.
people like me who don't want to spend as much, right? When there's loads of us, but one, I'm gonna say the word whale, right? That one whale has a greater impact on this sort of thing than a lot of us complaining about it.
Well, like I've been a whale, and I know well. I mean, I have friends. I know people personally that have spent 250 grand on BDO. Like I'm 20 grand is nothing in that game. Trust me. But you think like we do affect things more in the sense like behind the scenes, but in reality, anyone or any group, like if you go into Discord of your community and you're like, you know what, I'm just not feeling this game, and you guys move on to ArcheAge Unchained, you go play something else, like you guys aren't spending money, but your entire community goes over, you affect someone, and your whole group comes over. Like I'm amazed that myself, Masilis, Vert, Shaky Bay, Potion Shop TV, Fake Uniform, a whole bunch of partner streamers, we've all moved over from BDO to ArcheAge Unchained, and like 90% of our communities followed. So not all of them are whales, but you can see how many people they've brought over. I bet all the people we've brought over is going to be more than, well, you can't whale in this game. So, but like you can see, even the people that don't spend money, if they have a voice, can sway. So if you and your community, your YouTube channel is like, you know what, this game, they brought out loot boxes, they're doing this dirty, we're out. Like you can sway more people than that one whale can cover for easily. And I don't think only games that whales say, like Tree of Savior is probably the only game that whales are keeping alive. Games that small. Game is fun, but it's truly just kept alive by whales.
But I think it's not that's true and not true. Like, yeah, you can definitely influence a lot of people, but I think a good example of where I guess whales or kind of definitely do impact on stuff like loot boxes, right? I think loot boxes are some of the most hated things in the gaming industry, and they're probably kind of kept alive and kept around because of how willing people are to really go big on these, right? And really go crazy and and just invest a huge amount of money to kind of gamble on, right?
It's gambling. Like it is gambling. At what point are we going to call it gambling? That's what I'm waiting for.
Well,
when are the senators and people in power going to sit down and say, I think that's gambling?
Yeah, people are definitely pushing for it. Legally speaking, certainly here in the UK, and I imagine in the United States as well. People are definitely trying to push to get it regulated. This is one thing that I kind of I want to kind of finish the whale point before we do loot boxes. Oh, that's a juicy one. That's a good one right there. But yeah, like with the whales, like do you I don't know, like. If you think about how much the average player making, 250k on BDO, man, holy shit! Like, I think the company is very likely to kind of look at what that guy is doing and
BDO made over
change the game. $1 billion. $1
billion. I think his BDO was or Pearl Abyss, excuse me, or who it was Pearl Abyss. One of them was $1 billion, and then Guild Wars 2 was 64 million. But that was all the servers: EU, NA, Russia, Korea, MENA, and mobile, I think all combined. So it's a lot. And then mobile was so crazy. Mobile was more combined in 1 month than all the other games.
Of course it was. Of course.
But mobile, it's like $3 here, $4 here.
Yeah. So where do you think most of their income comes from whales, or does it come from just people clicking on random stuff?
The whole game is paywalled. So if you want to get in the game to get weight, inventory, all your pets to get started, really start playing, it's $250. So you're not going to spend it all right up front. So what they do is as you get more and more to the game, you usually they almost always get you the 250, and that's just getting
they drip feed it into you. You slowly encounter problems that you need to overcome.
Yes. So it's all available right away, but you're not going to run into weight too early. They gotten better at some of it than worse in other places. But early on the game is a blast because you don't need these things. But as you get further in the game, you need to go for these enhances that have 3.6% chance of going up. Or you can put these cron stones in it, which give you no extra chance of it going up, but it will not go down. But those cron stones are like, you need like 700 of them, 2 million each, whatever the math is on that. And then that's hard, but you don't want to buy those with your currency because you can get them from costumes for cheaper. So people buy costumes, rip the cron stones out of them to make their other gear safer enhanced, but it doesn't go up because it's 3.3% chance. So they may click this 50 times. It's 3 costumes per click. Each costume's $35, and that's one player. So you got to think, if there's thousands and tens of thousands of players doing it, it's just deleting the money. And everyone, and then there's that whale that's selling them and keep selling because they'll sell instantly. So it's awful. It's such a good game that's been ruined by just I've been that guy. I've swiped $500 and got nothing. It went to dust, and I just uninstalled the bet. I was drunk and I thought I was gonna get it. I was like, I'm gonna get it this time. Okay. Don't get it. I'm like, I literally just lit it on fire. Like, no gain from it, no stacks, no benefit, no bad luck protection. It's just gone. So,
like, I understand that games have to put incentives to spend currency, like in-game currency as well. But the moment you build a system where you can kind of circumvent the whole gathering the currency grind to get the eventual goal. Let's say you can do this whole BDO thing. Like, the moment that gets added, it just completely destroys, I don't know, the economy, kind of. It destroys the integrity, I suppose, is the better word.
Integrity for sure. When it came out on BDO, and people were realizing like, oh man, this is pay to win. There's a huge quit, like, I mean, a mass quit. You saw people, different games, entire guilds dissolved, discords were disbanded, and then they did it. They went on another layer where they did even more. And then it happened again. Then the servers got really bad because they're in some jank setup, and so they actually had a protest. I was playing Guild Wars 2 when it happened, and like every player in the game went to like one city, and like they filmed it and were like trying to protest to the company. And
I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, go for it. But it was shit. I don't know, man. Like,
yeah, it doesn't work, but I love that kind of stuff.
It didn't do
Games
anything.
rise up and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, gamers rise up. So perhaps with a game like BDO, then like it's more spread out because like everyone's getting milked. But a game like Guild Wars 2, like where do you think the majority of gem store sales come from? Do you think it's from, is it like averaged out amongst everyone, or does ArenaNet make more money from us, like the kind of like the 1%, like the whale percent, right? Is that where
I say it's whales?
Whales?
I say it's whales. It's whales and events.
So then I guess it depends what game you're talking about when who has the most influence. Like, for example, then in Guild Wars 2, surely the whales have a huge more, a lot of kind of weight to throw around.
I mean, I was spending $100 or more every time I played. Like, if I needed something, if I was grinding out I just grinded out a legendary. That's Mystic Fortunes, what's called? Is that right? Thing's expensive.
Yeah.
Clovers? Mystic Clovers?
Mystic Clovers,
Mystic. The King gets the craft, like a legendary.
Mystic Curio.
Yeah, I'm out there.
Curio?
Yeah, whatever it was. I'm out there buying gold to get those things, like, because it took less time because I wanted it made. So, if people like that, and people that are in that sort of consumer trap with them, if they all leave, like, they feel it. They have to feel it. Which I think, personally, I think they missed the mark. Like, legendaries and collections and making all that money had to have been huge for them because nobody wants to grind all that. You can just swipe for gold. And I know people were swiping for gold. I had friends that did it. So people do it. I mean, there's people in chat that are probably like, hey, pretty cool looking scepter. Think I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
I'm missing 500 gold.
You never used to be able to trade legendaries. Like, they were just account bound on Acquire. Like, they made them tradable on the trading post at some point after launch.
Really?
So you still had to do all the work to craft them.
Big mistake, in my opinion. Huge mistake.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts.
Yeah, like legendaries never should have been like that. Like, never should have been like that shit, dude. Really big. Well, I guess they made a lot of money, but I think it was a massive design problem, like, with the game. Actually, like, it's being able to buy that is really bad. Well, they were always tradable. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I thought they were always tradable as well. But I mean, dude, Mike knows his shit, dude. If he says that shit, I believe him.
Maybe they were tradable, but they certainly weren't listable on the trading post. I'm pretty damn sure about that. That's big. I spent about £1,000 on Guild Wars 2 when I was playing it.
There you go. See, supporting the game, easy. Yeah, I've done about 2K, I think, as well. So you and me, Fluke, carrying the game. Yeah, I do think that can be a bit of a problem though, like with just like with the whale thing, right? Like the because they're ArenaNet, well, maybe not ArenaNet, but companies make a lot of money out of whales. They're obviously going to start kind of catering the game to whales in a way, right? Because they're making so much income from it. And well, you could even argue that BDO is like, like a whale nursery, right? You go in there as like, like maybe like a little dolphin or a minnow, right? And they kind of fatten you up and you end up as a fucking whale by the time you're done, It's like...
We're all talking about whales. I'm doing a quest called Whale Song Harbor and Whale Song. Like, I'm doing like all this shit. I'm sitting in this game like, but no, like, it was weird. In Korea, like, from what I understand, like pay-to-win games are far more accepted. It's far more common and known. However, I do know that a beloved game that a lot of people in chat are probably waiting on, Lost Ark, died. So those are waiting on Lost Ark. It's coming out in Russia right now, but apparently in Korea it was not well liked. So sorry for the bad news on that one because of the pay to win. People were, you could skip dungeons and just buy it and shit.
Well, there you go. Whale time. That's what this is now, boys.
Whale time.
Whale
wow.
time. Yeah.
Wow.
Whale time.
There is an overwhelming response.
No,
an overwhelming response.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, then let us proceed to I think our final topic for the tea time, and I think there's not going to be much debate here, guys, because this is I don't think this is going to be a very popular one amongst any of us. Loot boxes, okay. And I've actually, guys, I'm going to tell you of a story of my personal journey, right? Because I thought previously I was like, I don't really care. Like I if you want to gamble, like fuck it, you can just do it. Because just don't. If you don't like it, don't buy it. If you don't like it, don't buy it, boys. But actually, no, I don't think that anymore. I think loot boxes are evil and they should be purged. Yeah, they should be like actually deleted from every game. It's like the most degenerate form of microtransaction imaginable. Like holy shit, dude. And by the way, this is coming from someone who actually kind of likes them. Like I kind of like Black Lion chests, but I do like them a lot. I have spent money on Black Lion chests. I have spent thousands of gold on Black Lion chests, and I still think they should be deleted. And every loot box.
Would you say what specifically about them do you like? What aspect specifically?
Gambling.
Just the fun of seeing what you're gonna get.
Yeah, gambling. Gambling is fun.
Okay. Don't play video enhancing.
Yeah,
gonna kill you. That's awful.
Yeah, I like gambling is kind of fun. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
dude, I would love to see you log on video with my account with a whole bunch of money and just be like, all right, here's enhancing. These are the chances. This is what you can get. This is the change. You can get an item that's like $1 billion, right? But if you click it, it's 8 billion. So it's like, wait, what? So there's some people, Teapot, that all they do is get real efficiency at enhancing, make rare items and sell them, which to me is like, how do you live? Like I click that stuff. It's like I just a month of progress is gone. Like
no, I can't do that,
like,
man. I can't.
A month, like you're like they just went like. It's awful.
Well,
it's risk assessment, isn't it?
It is risk assessment, and here's.
I suppose you've seen the Louis Theroux gambling thing they did when they went to Vegas, right?
Yeah.
All of those people were just like, we can afford it, we're okay with it. It's, I put this amount of money aside every however long and I spend that, I just gamble it away, and if it's gone, it's gone. It's not a big issue too.
Yeah.
It's the addiction that's the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of the people in his documentary were like really high rollers as well, like very wealthy people as well, right? A lot of the time, if I recall correctly, it was like, the casino would like give them a fucking suite, right? And it's like, yeah, this guy is like, oh yeah, like we're going to make sure you're very comfortable, right? So how much he's going to spend in the casino. And yeah, and this is where it does get a little bit tricky, because I guess I'm not addicted to gambling. Like I have never spent money in a game that I have actually felt bad about. Yeah, I think that's actually true. Like every time I bought Black Lion keys with gold or in-game resources or with real money, I've never thought, I shouldn't be doing this, right? I have, it's not like I have a fucking problem, boys. Okay, it's not really an issue for me, but I understand that it really does become a problem for a lot of people. Like people have actually got fucked up loot boxes and stuff like that, and they've like spent money that they really should not have done that, and for nothing as well. It's even worse. It's not you can't even win your money back. Like as soon as you buy the Blackline keys, you cannot cash out. Right? At least in a casino, you can make money. But I mean, with loot boxes, it's just like so worthless. And Blackline chests, by the way, guys, are probably some of the fairest loot boxes out there. And they are actually so bad. Like, so on like a gold conversion ratio, like I think there was one time I did 100 keys and I got 10% of my gold back.
Value.
I got absolutely destroyed, dude. I got annihilated in debate by the loot boxes, and this is like something that I consider to be a fair loot box. Like Blackline keys, dude. I'm not even gonna go after that. Like I'm gonna go after shit like fucking Hearthstone, dude, and like all the online card games and like the Steam bullshit, right? As well, like all the CS:GO knives and stuff. Like that's what I'm gonna chase after. Like let alone Blackline keys, they're okay, boys. Let's talk about like the degeneracy that is loot box. Like, it was so bad that like Star Wars Battlefront like nearly imploded like from the gravitational pull of how horrible their business model was. Like, oh man, I don't know. I was so wrong about this for so long. Actually, that was even worse. It's like the combination.
Oh wow! Wait, those loot boxes had items that were better.
Pay to win loot boxes, dude. Yeah.
Yo,
big.
Somebody in that board meeting was like,
stuff that you needed. Yeah.
Somebody in that board meeting was like, "Fuck it, let's just see what happens." Like,
the big wombo combo, dude. Like, yeah, we could.
No words at Bethesda.
Yeah, they can gamble, okay, and it's pay to win, so they have to gamble in order to pay to win. It's like another layer. Oh, incredible, absolutely insane. That is some big value right there, dude. Okay, that is some big value. Oh yeah, I don't know. Like, does anyone actually have a different take on me with loot boxes? Because I don't know. I've seen the error of my ways. Like, I kind of like them, but they're horribly anti-consumer, and they should be destroyed.
Tree of Savior has them, and they come out every now and then, and they can contain nothing, or they can just really, really, really just like, you can get an item that just changes the course of your game forever. And I went in on them, man. It was awesome. Like, I had so much fun opening. I opened them for like an hour as I bought so many. But yeah, like after I was done, I don't even play the game anymore. Why did I spend so much money on them? They're fun. Gambling's fun. You chase that. I think that's why we like MMOs. We chase that dopamine of, oh, I got a new piece of gear. Oh, I got a drop.
And the loot box is the shortcut. Instead of having to play the game, you can just keep pressing it. Like, yeah.
Hit me.
Could you imagine? You finish Ragnaros and then it drops a loot box.
No, you've got to pay to unlock it.
No, wait, what game is it you can pay to win? Oh, it is. Oh, it's Savior. When you kill the raid bosses, you can re-roll the item with a token.
Wait,
or what? Money. But the money's not worth it. So you can literally get an RNG token to re-roll the raid boss to get a second loot. I forgot about that. That's a hefty meme right there.
That is juicy. That is juicy. So I think the kind of as like the question here, like, and the point is, do you guys think there should actually be basically government intervention to deal with this practice? Like, and actually classify, like, if you have loot boxes in your game, you'd probably have to make it like an 18, I guess. I think that's probably what people will be pushing towards. Like, it would have to be like adults only.
It's misleading. Like, I mean, here we are, and don't offend anybody in the chat. We're having this issue with, they're selling jewels, which aren't even the issue with the lung issue. It's counterfeit bunk THC cartridges, but they're marketing flavored tobacco to kids, and that's not good, right? And in a way, we're not kids, but is marketing a hidden form of fun gambling healthy, even if we enjoy it? I mean, is that what we should be doing in our practices with these games? Like, I don't know. We got to kind of have some ethics and morals. That's like, I don't think it's, even though we're getting a lot of money off our consumer, I think we're kind of turning them into little gambling monsters.
Gambling.
Do we want that? Like, is that where we're trying to go?
You see this particularly in mobile gaming as well. Like, people are so addicted to this stuff. They just keep doing it. Like, go. Buy.
Smurf game that's the most famous one.
Yeah.
There was a Smurf game where a kid got a hold of it and was able to just keep buying and buying and buying and racked up like it was either thousands or hundreds of thousands of pounds
Oh,
of damages, and they were just like shit out of luck. Like that's it. That
Mm.
person just has to pay that now because the kid had the mobile phone and there was
Yeah.
just like no regulation on it.
Ouch.
I don't play mobile games, but I've actually heard people in my Discord talk about them. And I don't know what they're talking about, but they use a program on their computer to run multiple instances of mobile instances. So it's like,
Yeah.
say, I don't know what it's called, but chat, you may understand. But they
Multi-boxing?
run, it's multi-boxing for a cell phone. So it's running multiple instances of a cell phone instance.
Bunch of emulators. Yeah, they're running a bunch of emulators.
Yeah. They would do like 4 at a time, play the same game. Each game cost money. I'm like, you're double dipping 4 of them? Like, just play one. But they're like, well, the other one loads and you're in cutscenes, so you do it on this one. But each of them cost money.
Yeah, dude. People doing it on slot machines as well.
Play like multiple slot
like
machines.
Like 4 slot machines at the same time.
Oh my god.
It was in that documentary.
Multi-phone. That's crazy to me. Like, I mean, I like gambling to an extent. Like, I've gone to a casino. I think roulette is fun because you could take, like, all 3 of us could have some beers, get some good food, take like $300 each, go to roulette table, play it smallly, and it'll last all night. But you could say, hey, I'm putting 300 on red and it's all gone. But I like that, but I don't like the, hey, there's a skin for your rifle in this game. The only way to get it is buying this $20 box. This guy got it on his first one. You're gonna have to buy 100. They're $5 each, and that's gotta go.
Well, I just view it as very, very predatory at this point, right? Like,
yes.
Because if you want to go gamble in a casino, right? At least they're probably not going to let you in if you're 12 or something like, or you're a relatively young person, right? They're not going to let you in, right? In a game, in a video game, it's so easy to do this, right? Like anyone can just do this and then gamble. And bear in mind, guys, like even in real life when it's a bit more difficult to actually gamble, like people will ruin their lives doing this stuff. Like people get seriously addicted to gambling and they have serious problems, right? They lose a huge amount of money that they really can't afford to lose, right? And this can happen very quickly.
Memeing at all.
This is not a meme.
This is a genuinely serious issue.
Yeah, this is a no yoke, my friends, right? This is a very big problem. And that's just like real life gambling. And now in a video game, right? In a video game, like everyone has access. It's totally unrestricted. You can have kids doing this. You can have like people, I don't know, like making fucking really dumbass decisions, I don't know, like just for whatever reason, right? And they get addicted to it and they end up messing themselves getting destroyed, right? That sounds more like an echo chamber between 2 people who have no clue what they're talking about, an actual debate. Have fun agreeing with each other. Also, the same logic was applied when trying to ban baseball cards. Have fun. At least you get something for your baseball cards, though, and it's not even close to the same thing, dude. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, do you have a little empathy, man, for like all the people who got a lot of people who ripped? Like, you need to actually like provide an argument. If you're going to disagree with me, then you actually need to posit an argument as opposed to just like getting triggered, right? Like there's no other way you can do that, right? You can't just put lol in the chat, man. And this is something that we're going to agree on. But to be fair, I also did say that because I think loot boxes are a universally bad thing. I think they're an incredibly predatory thing, and they actually mess people up. Like I don't think like my own enjoyment, because I like gambling and I think I can use loot boxes responsibly. But I understand that some people have like highly addictive personalities and can actually mess up their own lives. By engaging in these practices. That companies do that deliberately to bait them. Okay, the point of a loot box is that you don't get anything, and it encourages you to keep buying it. Right? It's designed in a way that is to sucker people in, and it just like provides no value to the consumer, except like some mild enjoyment if you can afford it, right?
Like if you
and
consider
then
the skins that you can possibly get as value, then it provides some, but a much higher cost and a hidden cost. Is the big thing.
Oh, I mean, I don't know, dude. Like that's not a good take. That's not a good take, man.
Yeah.
Like
you're guy in chat, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Like we're not going to disagree on this. I think loot boxes could be acceptable at their absolute possible best, but never good. Like I'm never going to advocate, oh yeah, I'd much rather get the mystery box than take the boat. Give the damn boat. I'm going to, fuck.
Oh wait, that's the Family Guy reference. I got that one.
It's a Simpsons reference.
Wait, Family Guy, isn't the one where he's like, you can get a boat or a box? He looks at Lois, he's like, what if there's a boat in the box? Take it the box.
don't ban gambling, just add limits. Like, why not have no gambling in video games though? Like, what does gambling actually add? Right, I think gambling is so trash, dude. Right, like you want to, I don't know, man. Like it just causes you to waste money, and allows you to get like nothing in return.
But you
like
could get
I really
lucky.
don't like it. Yeah, you can get
That's the
super
thing.
lucky. No, just play the fucking game. Like make the game good. Like the game's enjoyment should not come from like the dopamine hit that you get when you're opening an RNG box. Like the dopamine hit should come from when like you enjoy the game, like the game actually being good. All right. Like seriously, listen up, Mr. Alpha Wolves gamer, right? Like you should go and say that. You should go and say like, yeah, like fucking like we have, yeah, you guys don't have any talk. You don't know what you're talking about. You should go and tell that to like the guy who like lost thousands, like actually messed up his life on like gambling or even real life gambling as well.
His
like,
point didn't make sense. He said we're not even debating because we're agreeing with each other.
Yeah.
Hello, like is debating meaning you disagree? That's called arguing. Like.
Well, I don't know, man. Like the pro-consumer thing is like such a big deal. Like I don't know. I do not enjoy being milked by a company. Okay, especially when it can potentially mess up people's lives, right? Like yeah, fair enough. Like you might be able to handle it. Like maybe you can. And you know what? I'd like to think that I can as well. Like maybe I've wasted some money. In fact, I definitely have wasted some money. But it was money that I could afford, right? But here's the thing, right? Like not everyone can afford it, right? Like and some people just like get baited into this. It's like like what you're saying is basically like, yeah, just stop doing drugs, bro. Just stop drinking.
Just don't do it for it.
Just don't do it, man. Like in fact, we should legalize all of these substances, right? Like just because some people can probably handle it and use it responsibly, right? Like yeah, like, sure, you can probably do that. You have to get into the companies are going to do what they do.
Imagine gatekeeping loot box.
Yeah, I don't think you necessarily. I mean, maybe this is because I'm from Europe, so we have like slightly stronger stances on government regulation. I think, as opposed to a lot of Americans, I guess, because it's freedom, right? But I don't know. I think it would be a really good thing to actually kind of control this stuff. To restrict this stuff, like because to basically protect people, right? Like I'm not saying like fully delete it, but like it should be very strictly regulated. To make sure that like no one's gonna get fucked, right? Like this isn't even controversial. Like we do this with all sorts of things in real life, right? I think people underestimate the impacts of like this is getting a little bit heavy, isn't it? Fucking hell, boys. I think people really underestimate the impact that can actually this can have on your life, right? Like people get messed up because of this stuff. So, and it's not like we don't do that with other things in real life as well. Like, like stuff like alcohol is regulated, and that, like even with all the regulations, it still really messes people up, man. Like with drinking and stuff like that. So like, why not do it with gambling? Like gambling can have a massive impact on someone's life, especially if it's in fucking like a video game. At least in a casino, you have to like walk to the casino, right? Where it's then regulated, right? If you're like doing loot boxes, you're just tapping a button, right? And your PayPal balance is going down, I don't know, dude. Like, what the fuck? It's like such an unusual statement to make, right? Yeah, it's true. It's like, look, there it goes. Like, and then you're getting worthless trash in game. I don't know. It's so it's really, really scary.
There's also the weird kind of currencies that they put in, like middle ground currencies, like gems are like that specific thing. You buy gems and then you're not really understanding the full value of the gems compared to the money that you just spent and the gold that you might potentially get out of it. It's like chips as well in a casino. Like, oh, I've got this handful of chips, these tiny little, I don't know what the hell they're made out of, plastic or whatever. I've got these tiny little things that might be like a stack of 2 inches high or whatever. And that's like 10 grand of real money. And you're like, oh, but it's so small. I can easily just toss these around. And then, before you realize it, whoops, I've just fucked myself and I have no college fund for my kid now. Well, I don't like these middle values.
It is
unfortunate. And also they can fuck with the middle values as well. They can, like Envy said ages ago with like, hey, this item costs 800 gems, but you can only buy 1,000 gems.
Yeah,
like
this is cheeky. This is actually a little bit cheeky, right? Oh yeah, you want it? You know what? They'll do this with build templates, right? They won't make build templates like an even number. They'll make it it's gonna be like 700 gems or something, right? So yeah, you can buy 800. Oh look, you've got 100 left over. Oh, you can buy some more and buy some other stuff. Whoa, like it's alleviated because you can kind of funnel your leftover gems into gold, right? So it's okay, but like it's a little bit cheeky with some of this stuff, and it can be insidious with some other games as well. That's for sure. But yeah. There you go. What about Guild Wars 2 loot boxes? No impact in the game itself, and all rewards are tradable on auction house for gold, which can also be traded for cash up money that has dollar value. You can't pay out though. Like you can't convert your Guild Wars 2 gold into real money unless you like RMT. I mean, then you can, I guess, but it's not going to be good.
There's tons of outfits and colliders and things that you can't trade out of those loot boxes.
Yeah,
like they're just account bound on acquire.
Yeah. And like, but the thing is, like, even if that was true, like, even if everything was tradable, it's still gambling, right? And that's still
somebody
potentially
has to pay
dangerous.
for it.
Yeah, like it's got to come from somewhere, right? Like the outfits don't just like spring into existence onto their trading post. Like someone out there has been opening the fucking loot boxes. I don't know. I don't like to kind of poke at Guild Wars 2 of this because like I don't know, like Blacklight chests are alright. Like they are tolerable, right? Like they're pretty like they're a loot box, so obviously they kind of suck, but they're not that bad. And you can just like buy keys. You can earn the keys in the game, which is something, I guess. But still,
but you can't earn the keys from doing specific achievements.
That is true.
Which would be nice.
Well, you can do like the key run every week.
I suppose there's key farming,
you can,
right?
Yeah, you can do
yeah,
yeah. It's gonna take you a while, you know. It's gonna take you a while. I don't know. Fucking loot boxes, man. Fuck that shit.
How much do we value time and convenience when we have? Oh, we could just get a job, forehead, and do some overtime and spend some.
Apparently, it's very highly because people love to buy all the convenience stuff, right? Like that's why the pay for convenience stuff works so well because people do value it very highly. Like busy people, busy lives. So you buy that stuff, you skip it. In fact, like a lot of the time when people ask me like, what's the best way to make gold in Guild Wars 2, like I'll unironically tell them just like honestly, just go and work an extra hour and spend that on gems, like because like the grind in the game is probably it's not that good. I mean, you're not gonna make that much gold in an hour if you're just grinding out gold. You're better off just getting some of that cash, easy. But okay, yeah, fuck loot boxes, by the way, guys. I think that is a good time to wrap this up, just as like everyone's getting triggered with my insane hot take towards the end of the tea time, right? You know what was weird? I didn't even think that was much of a hot take. I'm really surprised that someone got mad at that gambling loot box is bad. That's unusual. I didn't see that one coming. But what a surprising note to end the stream on. I like that. If it was predictable, it wouldn't be nearly as entertaining, guys. Okay? But yeah, it was only one person going, that is true, right? But I just thought that was such a cold take that no one would get mad at that, right? And you know what? This is my least favorite kind of Twitch chat flame man envy, right? Okay? He came in here, right? He flames us and like puts the fucking lol emote, right? But it's very ironic actually, seeing as like the person that emote depicts hates loot boxes, by the way. Hated, sorry. But yeah, never mind, right? And then he just leaves without actually having the argument. I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, come on. Where's your intellectual spine,
I bet.
right?
I got him. They can't respond to me if I'm not in there.
It's the big brain move.
Yeah.
And how do you have an argument when Twitch chat is impossible to argue?
Oh, man. But anyway, there we go. All right. So thank you guys so much for watching. It's time to wrap up the tea time. Welcome to the end of the show, guys. Okay. Welcome. So thank you very much to my wonderful hosts returning after a very, very long time. I believe the aforementioned video you made about Heart of Thorns was the reason you were actually here the last time, Mike. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah,
I think it was.
To Brazil and yourself.
Yeah, yes. So welcome back to the show. That's certainly been a long time, hasn't it? So tell us a little bit about what you're up to these days, okay? And I'll see if the bot will do its thing.
That's a bloody good question, honestly. Oh man, occasionally I do YouTube content. I pretty much just stream every now and then at the moment. Like right now for Halloween, we're sort of playing through Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, a fantastic RPG of old, probably released in like 2001-ish. Having a good time. It's a World of Darkness game, so it's all D&D-ish, first, third-person, action-adventure sort of RPG, where you play a vampire and it's quite edgy. But hey, I'm having fun, so maybe you should come and have a look too. Otherwise, I just kind of do cold takes of generic games on YouTube, really. I'll just put out a video called Recently In, where I just say, hey, I've been playing this game and it's like this. This is what it's like. Lol, see you, bye. That's me. I'm at twitch.tv/MagicalMike2. Same for YouTube, MagicalMike2, and I'm on Twitter saying a load of nonsense junk at YTMagicalMike.
Fantastic. And here we go. It is the the biggest whale on TeaTime. Okay, Mr. 10K, Mr. 10K Guild Wars 2. It's Envy. Okay, he will sell your company to buy in-game currency. Here he is. What's up with you, man?
Thank you for the intro. I am playing ArcheAge Unchained, and surprisingly, it's not pay to win. As somebody that would pay to win if there was, I actually can't find anything to pay to win on. So yeah, I'm playing ArcheAge Unchained on NA. I'm playing a mage build, and I'm actually having a blast. So come by. I'm trying to stream as much as I can. I am just started a new job, so I am very busy IRL. But twitch.tv, enviously TV, envy_noir on Twitter. But yeah, come by and hang out.
Okay, so check all that stuff out, guys. And of course, if you like TeaTime, follow the stream. If you really like TeaTime, okay, subscribe. And I'll tell you what, for all those people who like loot boxes, I'll give you a loot box as well. I'll send you a black lunch as you subscribe right now. Let's fucking go, boys. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the stream. I stream every day-ish, that sort of thing. And you can go and watch all the other TeaTimes on YouTube. I do a TeaTime maybe every week-ish, podcasts about things, gaming. We've got various highly intellectual people, not only on the stream, but in the chat as well. Okay, so yeah, goes out to Plenix. We're raiding our boy Plenix now. So yeah, thanks for watching. Follow, subscribe, links below for my wonderful guests today. Thanks to them for coming on and providing us some good intent. Peepo Glad's in the chat. Let's Peepo Glad in the chat. And be sure to leave us a comment, like the video, and subscribe. That's all I've got to say. Thanks for watching, boys. See you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening. Good night, my friends.